can swim. Just can't walk or dress myself. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Salute, and welcome. Welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now, so we're getting deep in with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. Oh, family, tonight's broadcast, we got a lot of ground to cover. Oh, yes, we do. I hope all of you are doing well, okay, going into this holiday season here, or retrocessé season as we call it. And I hope that you paid attention to the message on my community tab while I was admonishing and advising all of you on the sound of my voice, if you black, okay, because I'm not really concerned about other groups outside of our people. Be safe, be wise, you're gonna be traveling, get where you're going early. Do not be on these highways and byways at night if you can help it, because no matter how much sense you have, there's gonna be plenty of drunk drivers out here that just are determined not to make it to 2025. So if you're on the sound of my voice, I expect you to make it to 2025, okay? So just hope you all will heed that. I hope everybody's doing well, but not going to have a sponsor tonight. And salute to the good brother, Black Truth United, because we got some serious business to take care of in part here. If you're following me on X, you already know what we're about to deal with. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm going to have fun with that. Let me tell y'all something, man. Since foundational Black American freedmen, men and women have drawn the line in the sand about the disrespect of our culture, I know oftentimes it's considered that we're only checking the tether class. And when I say tether class, I'm even including them folks, okay, the mayonnaise people. But that also means off-code Sambozos and Sambeds within FBA lineage. Oh, yes, they going to look. I'm the can man. Everybody can get it, okay? So I'm just letting y'all know we're going to be dealing with a lot here tonight. So let me go in and greet my esteemed guests joining us over here in the chat room tonight. Oh, yes. Let's see who I see here. I see the brother Kevin Blackwell in here. Concerned Black citizen. What's going on down there in Miami, my brother? I see Hot One in here. Black Truth United. Jesse Paris, a.k.a. Sharon Krumer. I see Most Hated Runs Flat Power Guy. What's going on? Project Nero in the building. Tanisha Murdoch is in here. Jason Ferreira. I see Patricia Jenkins. Let's see 225 Girl. Let's see Michael Williams. All right, let's see. Make sure I don't miss anybody. Sister Studs in. B. Mosby is in here. Let's see. The Lone Wolf Effect. Let's see. Make sure I don't miss anyone here. My good brother Kid Gravity Beyond. Brother, I'm going to be contacting you soon, too. I got an idea for an X space that you might want to get in on when you have the time. So I'll probably try to hit you up tonight after this broadcast. I see Charlie X in here. Maximus Royalty in here. Let's see. I think that's everybody. Salute and welcome to everybody and anybody that'll be joining us tonight. So family, let's go ahead and get straight to brass tacks. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and put this up on the screen here. Yeah, we got to deal with this. I know you saw the post that I put on my community tab. If you're on X, you probably saw this. Okay, so let's go ahead and deal with where this came from. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can put link to this tweet in the chat room in case you all would like to check this out for yourselves, because Sadat X, or as I'm gonna call him by his name. Nah, Derek Murphy, that's your name, man. That hip hop name. Nah, you're not even worthy of that, because you're gonna find out that we the people of foundational Black America have the right to strip your cooning ass of any title that you give yourself or that we give you. See, let me explain something to y'all, man. It's a brand new day as far as tolerating these sambos and sellouts in our culture. Let me go ahead and read you what I tweeted, because I saw this at random, okay? I wasn't even looking for this, but a lot of things scroll across my timeline, and if I see something that needs to be spoken on, I'm going to speak on it. So you all know me. I will tag you and let you know who I'm talking to. And see, I'm going to deal with another thing that he had to say, because, this exchange, man, it got heated on his part, but I was toying with him because, see, let me explain something about you to you all. If I engage anybody on social media, especially these sambos, it's for a strategic purpose. I wanted him to get him to talk and expose himself, and he did exactly what I wanted him to do. All that little jaw jacket and stuff, I'll match your energy, but let me say something to you, Derek. In one of your videos, I'm going to deal with that in long form tomorrow, so be expecting a broadcast change on the upcoming broadcast tomorrow. I'll be changing that. We're going to deal with something else. Let me tell you and everybody on the side of my voice on this microphone something. Whatever on any video I say on this channel, whatever I say to you, pre-recorded live, X-Space, Instagram, Patreon, whatever I say out of my mouth, I will tell you to your face. I'm going to say it again. Whatever I say on any platform, I will tell you to your face. I will do it. There's a lot of people on here that won't. I'm not one of them. Okay? And plenty of people know that too. It's been a couple of people that have found that out the hard way over the years. So, Derek, just so you know, all that stuff you talking about, who wouldn't say stuff, because he got mad because I was talking about what I believe is probably his boo thing, Sloppy Joe. Oh, yeah. You know what? Let me see if I can put that in the chat room so y'all can follow this thread if you want to. Look at a lot of y'all like, who is this dude? I see that's just how sad it is. Let me give context on that, okay? I think this is right. He's a member of the group Brand Nubians, okay? Or he was. And see, in a time like this, where you got these tethers and the male folks trying to erase our culture as foundational Black American freedmen, the men of the culture, especially the ones that have contributed to it, should be first and foremost the gatekeeper, okay? That we supposed to stand up for it. We're not supposed to wait on the women or the children. The men are supposed to take the lead in doing that. So here's what I tweeted to him, and y'all gonna see what I answered that. I said, hold up, Sadat X. Are you saying you, and I quoted this, you don't give a fuck about the art you created for over 20 years and are recognized by Black Americans as one of the greatest MCs to ever touch a mic? Is this out of fear or have you been told to be quiet? Now, I asked these questions because I want to know. Honest question, because in the video that I'm going to play for you all here in a second, you all tell me if this sounds like a man that was afraid. So he talking about don't ask me shit. So now it was a couple of brothers and sisters over there that saw his crash out because let me say this. Much respect to my own cold, solid New York brothers and sisters. But you got a breed of New Yorker up there that is a punk bitch. And I know because they get their asses handed to them down here all the time. And little did we know that Derek Murphy comes from that punk bitch breed. That's what you come from. Because if you look at that tweet, Father Bender, let me put it in there a couple times so that y'all can see it. I want you to see where he went because, see, I know why he responded that way. It's a guilty conscience because his brother, Lord Jamar, respect the Lord Jamar, okay? That's a real one. That brother is on point. He's on code. He's handling business and standing on business for the culture. But see, when you see your brother, Lord Jamar, standing on business, these people come at him like Sloppy Joe and the rest of these Latinos, your bitch ass is the first one, man, don't ask me shit. You scary Sambo, you. Listen, let me tell you something, dude. Even if y'all happen to have a falling out, I'm not saying that's the case because I don't know that about him and the brother, Lord Jamar. But even if you did have a falling out, y'all was a part of one of the most iconic hip-hop groups of all time. And then when you see them coming at your brother, you talking about don't ask me shit. You know what? Let me play this Sambo. I want y'all to be the judges. Let me get his ass on the screen because, see, where I'm going to go tomorrow is not going to be where y'all think, but we're going to pick back up dealing with him. But I want to play this thing because, see, he jumped out the window talking about don't ask him nothing, and then he tried to pretend when I confronted him that, oh, yeah, I wasn't saying nothing about Fat Joe and nobody else and Lord Jamar. They two grown men, they can handle their own business, you scary Sambo plantation slave, you. With your gap tooth mouth. I believe this boy is a junkie. That's what I think he is because, see, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this and y'all tell me what y'all think. I want y'all to take a listen to this.
What's up, y'all? This is the last time I'm going to say this, man, because I'm tired of niggas hitting me in my comments in different sections. So, Sadat, you haven't said anything. How do you weigh in on the origins of hip-hop or this situation with this rapper saying this? Listen, once and for all, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You understand what I'm saying? I got my square. And as long as nothing comes in my square, y'all niggas could have civil war on the outside. You understand? Some of the niggas champion it, okay, but then some niggas look like straight up bitches, B. No, this shit. No, that shit. No, this. Look like a fucking bunch of bitches, B. That's why I said, don't ask me about that shit again, B. I don't give a fuck. You understand? Long as my square is untouched, I'm good, B. That's it, man. That's it. I don't give a fuck.
Did y'all hear this circus tooth mouth Sambo with them fucked up teeth in his mouth? See, that's how I know you didn't take care of your money, man, because your mouth shouldn't be looking like that. And yeah, I'm going there. See, let me deal with something else, too. I saw what you tried to pull in the thread because I was lighting his ass up along with other people. We were clowning the shit out of his ass. Dude, I'm glad that I got you to go on and expose yourself because, y'all, if you look in the thread, he was referring to black people with the hard ER niggas. See, let me tell you something about Sambos that do that, these Uncle Ruckus clowns. It stung him when I hit him with that question because all of us who are grown men, no matter your lineage, okay? All of us who are grown men, you know, even if you have the public food, you know when you're being a coward. You know that when you're alone in your home or wherever you reside and you get up and look in that mirror, you know when every day you get up if you've compromised your manhood. And then if somebody else calls you out on it, then you want to lash out at people because that makes you feel better in some way. Well, I got bad news for you, Derek. It's only going to get worse from here. Because, see, from here on out, whether it's in our lineage as foundational Black American freedmen or without it, we marking pariahs now. We going to make examples of these Sambo-ass coons. Because, see, let me say this to my younger people, all right? Because I'm going to deal with this long form tomorrow. I just wanted y'all to hear that. You tell me if you think that's fair. I believe that some of them folk told him not to say anything because they've been going around to the pioneers after our good brother Tariq Nasheed dropped microphone check and telling them what they better not say. And see, let me say this to young black men in particular, okay? When you become his age, my age, you should have taken care of business enough to where you're not beholden to anybody like that, especially if you in his field that he's in. See, that come from never setting yourself up to be in an ownership position with anything. So now somebody can yank your chain and tell you what not to say. Now, of course, he'll put on airs and try to act like that's not true or that's not. No. We can tell because, I mean, if you see a stand-up brother like Lord Jamar, these people insulting this man, insulting the legacy of Brand Nubian, and just insulting your fellow brother in hip-hop. You ain't got nothing to say. See, it's not about him being his own man, of course. Let me tell you something. There's plenty of brothers and sisters over here that are their own man in new black media that can speak for themselves. But if I see or hear certain things, I'm going to come to their defense to a certain degree on things, okay? Just for fact of business of those being people out here on the grassroots that I have respect for and that I know, okay? Even if we fell out, I will still come to their defense if I know somebody's lying on them. I'm not going to sit by and allow that. But see, when you're an old, cowardly, sellout Sambo, and see, Derek, I know you probably over here looking and listening. I think I know what it is. It's partly fear you didn't take care of your money, so you're beholden to them folks, and you either got a Latino baby mama, or, like I said, you probably bending over for your boo thing, Taco Joe. It's one of the two, boy. I know it is. Because, boy, you coming out there with the ER and everything. See, let me tell you something. Y'all better understand that when I engage folks, there's no emotion behind it. It's all strategy. And I got him talking long enough to expose himself because, see, look, my offer still stands, Derek. I will pay you, literally, and everybody knows if I say something, I mean what I say. I will pay you to get that grill fixed if you do me one favor under one condition. You got to get a couple more of your old Sambos that we think we should be respected to come out the gate and let us know if they feel like you do. How you gonna be a part of creating a legacy and then you just wake up one day, I don't give a fuck about none of that, B. I don't give a fuck that goofy New York bullshit. And I'm saying that for his punk ass, not all New Yorkers. Because see, he's the type that make New York look bad. I'm gonna tell you something right now. To hear him utter those words that he said on that video, That go to show you don't have no heart for nothing. See, these are the type of people that are the shit hit the fan. I'm good. I'm on my square. That means you too short-sighted to recognize when there's a threat to the whole of the community. So even if you stood on your square, there could come a time where somebody's coming to knock you off that square. See, in other words, let me put it bluntly. In times of old, if a kingdom or principality was under threat and there was an opposing force coming towards that particular principality or that kingdom, the men didn't go hide with the women and children. The warrior class stepped up to handle business. But see, we starting to see something, and our good brother Cat Williams said this. You remember he told us what 2024 was going to expose and bring, and boy, did he turn out to be somewhat of a prophet with that statement. I, for one, am not angry at Derek Murphy, a.k.a. Sadat X, formerly, because I'm stripping that of you. That's right, I'm stripping you that name. I call you Tinkerbell X because you showed bitch-made energy in that exchange between us. I'm not angry at you. I actually owe you a thank you. My offer stands. Y'all be sure to let him know. He can get his grill fixed. I will pay for the whole thing. But you got to get your other Sambos to come out and let us know how they feel. This is your chance to put a little bit of money in your pocket, boy. You look like you need it, and I'm going to prove that tomorrow. Oh, I'm going there. I usually don't like to do stuff like this, but you had a lot to say in that comment section. And I'm going to say it for you one more time. Whatever I say on this microphone, if you see me in person, I will tell you to your face. And whatever have to come after that, it'll happen. Because, see, you were doing a little bit of veiled tough guy talk. I'm not one to do that on the internet. And if y'all look in that thread, you see, I didn't threaten him or his family. I only got disrespectful when he got disrespectful. But let me make something clear about these little veiled threads that you made. Talking about who won't say what on the internet. Dude, I am the last person on the planet that you want to get into a physical altercation with. I'm telling you now. I don't have a dad bod. I'm not out of shape. I am combat ready. And then I wouldn't even really want to do it to you, man, because I can't get no points off of that. You's an old, sorry Sambo. There's no honor in dusting your ass off. So you better stay humble and watch them threats that you're making. Because, boy, I'm going to tell you something. The world is very small. You got the right one with all that little goofy New York bullshit. Y'all talk too fucking much. That's one of the problems about the punk asses in New York. Not all of them, but the punk asses. You run your mouth and you think everybody's doing that. Everybody ain't playing like that. So you better leave it to your little insults online. I'm telling you, don't play with me like that. It's been a couple of people that have found that out the hard way, running off at the mouth. Look, let me tell y'all something, man. I'm actually quite benevolent because I can show y'all footage of some of y'all favorite YouTubers that had a lot of shit to say then when they saw me in person, they took off running. I got footage of this shit. If I was to put that shit out right now, y'all would never look at them the same again. Dude, you better stay in your lane with that bullshit. I thank you for exposing yourself, but all that tough guy shit, man, boy, you better ask about me. Because, see, I'm going to tell you something, Derek. You may not know me, but there's people that you know me. You better inquire about some folks, boy. And I know you listen. I know this is going to get back to you. You got the right one. That's all I'm going to say about that until tomorrow, family. So now, let me let you know what we're going to be dealing with here tonight. We're going to be dealing with a particular interview that fits into the subject matter that we got to address here about knowing the difference between objective critique and hating, okay? Because a lot of our people tend to get this misconstrued, all right? A lot of our people get this misconstrued. A lot of people think that objective critique of any sort is somebody hating on you. If somebody's hating on you, that stems from a place of, one, that person is someone that envies you or somebody that has no talent or they want what you have. If somebody objectively critiques you, they don't have any type of personal dog in the fight. They're just talking about the facts. So I want to play a good portion of this interview here that was done on the Art of Dialogue where Dr. Umar Johnson here was talking about the Jay-Z situation and the deal and several other things. And I got to give props where props is due. I honestly think Dr. Umar did a good job of giving some objective critique on this particular situation. So I'm gonna play this, family. We're gonna be stopping it and checking out certain parts of what Dr. Umar said. And I'm gonna let y'all know some thoughts on some of this stuff that he was talking about. Because believe it or not, he was on the money with a lot of it, but I'll let you know the points of contention that I have. It wasn't too much though. So I'm gonna play this because this is a perfect example of how you have objective critique versus just hating. I want y'all to take notes on this. Let's get started.
Yeah, it's a lot going on out here, man. How you feel about Jay-Z and what he going through?
You know, when I look at the Jay-Z sex assault allegation, and I read completely the plaintiff's argument put forth by her attorney, Tony Busbee. And right from the gate, Art, I had some very serious concerns about her narrative. First of all, and this doesn't speak to the legalities of the case, this doesn't speak to the moralities of the case, this doesn't speak to the political implications of the case. I'm stepping back from those three for a minute here, and I'm asking a very basic, simple question. And that is, how in the hell does a 13-year-old girl show?
All right. So let me pause it right here and let me know if you can hear me loud and clear in the chat room. I might have to adjust some settings on here. Could everybody hear everything that was being said right there? Could everybody hear everything? Because I don't think that's PewTube this time. I think it might be on my end here. So I may have to adjust a couple of things. Can everybody hear me okay? I think this is on my end. I'm going to make some adjustments before I give my thoughts on this. Give me 1 second, family. Hold on. I think I know what I need to do here. Hold tight. All right, this might make a difference here. So can everybody still hear me okay? All right, thumbs up. Okay, I see this in the chat. So y'all say y'all couldn't hear what was being said, because I will take that back. Okay. All right, buffer it. Says she don't hear anything. Now she says she hear. Okay. All right, so we'll take that back, because Dr. Umar basically was making some good points there about that situation, the allegations on Jay-Z with, the whole 13-year-old thing. And I'm going to be honest with you, that whole thing just sounds shaky, no matter what you think about Jay-Z. That right there, nah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, but I'm going to take this back, because I want y'all to hear what Umar was saying here, because he was making a lot of sense with that. So we're going to play that again, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on what he was talking about.
Or meet me back here after the award show. I have to drop off Puff. I got to drop off his entourage, some other celebrities. And when I'm done dropping them off, I'm going to come back and pick you up. According to the civil suit, the limousine driver told the 13-year-old that Puff likes young girls and you fit the description of the type of young girl that he likes. So I'm going to come back and pick you up. So he comes back, he gets her. He takes her to the after party, wherever that was, and it's not clear whether that was at Puff House or some other location. So she gets into the after party. She sees all these celebrities. They doing drugs, they getting high, being sexually promiscuous, whatever the case may be. She says they give her, Art, what she believes at that time to have been a non-disclosure agreement. So another red flag goes up for me. Because I'm saying to myself, if you're only 13 years old, how can they give you an NDA? In other words, did you misrepresent yourself as being older than what you really are? Because, Art, everybody knows a minor cannot sign consent for themselves.
Now, let me pause there right there, because, man, Umar is kicking on all cylinders here with that, because he's using deductive reasoning and common sense. When we first heard these allegations, regardless of whether you have anything personal against Jay-Z or not, you got to use your head on some of that stuff. I'm like, nah. See, look, this isn't a situation where, like with the Diddler, chances are they do have video footage from that raid of him doing everything they said. Chances are they do, because they got a lot of it. Whether you agree or disagree with that or not, at least there's probable evidence there. And we'll find out. That time is going to come pretty soon. They're going to hurry up and put him on trial this coming year here. But in Jay-Z case, okay, this some way long time ago. No evidence whatsoever. Nobody saying they got no DNA evidence. At least I hadn't heard anything like that. The chick done changed up her story several times. And yes, Dr. Umar did this interview at the time when he didn't know that it was a white woman. He thought it was a black woman. So that's going to be the context he's going to be addressing this ass over here tonight. But I'm with him on that. Because, see, let's look at a couple of things. For those of you that are parents over here in my chat room. Man, how your 13-year-old go anywhere a couple of hours and you don't know where they are? And you're not trying to find them, let alone they done snuck off somewhere to like the VMAs. Now, let's be clear. When you in larger cities like New York or what have you, yes, we know those teenagers do all kinds of stuff. They sneak all over the place. But if you're a parent and you're on your job, you're trying to find your kid. Okay? I mean, for example, I got to take it back to the R. Kelly situation. I'm one of the people that have said this for the longest. Okay, you got R. Kelly locked up, as he should be for those things that he did, not the stuff that they fabricated. Things that he did, okay, involving minors, because, he beat them charges where he paid people off. But, in that situation, the parents need to be locked the fuck up too, because how you got your minor children over his house or any grown man house for days, that's not their relative or anything. No, they need to do some time too. Ain't no way in hell that you gonna have a teenager, a minor, that can't legally drive or anything over to this man's house. We ain't even talking about no 18-year-old, okay? Because you can understand an 18-year-old come and go as they please for the most part. But you still should be trying to keep up with them because that's still a teenager. But for the allegations, they were saying some of these children was 17, 16, 15, all of that. What kind of parent, especially if there's a father in the home, your daughter just gone? That lets you know, and I'll say it again, some of them parents was in on that. So now with this situation involving Jay-Z, okay, 13 years old, you sneak into this party, so she say, all right. Heard her change her story up. I'm pretty sure y'all have already heard it by now. She was getting stuff wrong and talking about who was there. There's some people that she said was there. Comes to find out that they was proving they was in other locations, so she was lying about that. And I'm like, nah, man. But see, here's the thing. I'm going to tell y'all why I think these allegations came out against Jay-Z. And I'm probably one of the few people that's going to say this. I'm going to wait a little bit before I go there, though. So I just want to put this out here. I got to give Umar props for his thought process on this because he's spot on. Let it continue.
A minor cannot sign consent for themselves. So if someone in that party gave this 13-year-old child a non-disclosure agreement, that means they were under the assumption that you were an adult and you did not make it clear to them that you were only a child. You didn't make it clear to the limo driver that you were only a child. And also, going back to the limo driver, Art, if he tells you that Puffy is into young girls, you look young, you're the type of girl he would want, doesn't that kind of signal to you that if he's coming back to pick you up, he's not taking you to meet Puff for a music deal. He ain't taking you to meet Puff for an audition. He ain't taking you to meet Puff so you can sing cameo on one of his artist's upcoming songs. He's taking you to see Puff for some kind of sexual activity. He sized you up physically and said you the type of girls he likes. And he wants to take you to the after party. What else can he be talking about, Art, other than some sex? So let's go further. She gets to the after party. She says that there's waitresses walking around giving out drinks. She takes one of the drinks and she starts drinking it. She starts to feel woozy, lightheaded. She gets tired. So she decides to stumble to a room, a vacant room at the party. I'm assuming the party is in a home. She stumbles to the vacant room, Art, and she lays down because she's woozy, and that makes sense. You had something to drink. They said Puffy be spiking his drinks, true or false. That's what's out there, so I can understand that. But here's what I don't understand, Puff. I don't think a 13-year-old girl, or any woman for that point, and of course we're talking about a minor, if you're in a party and you see all these celebrities and they doing drugs and getting high and being sexually promiscuous, if you feeling lightheaded and woozy, why not sit down in the main party area? Why not sit down in the living room or the dance area? Because as you know, Art, there's chairs everywhere at a nightclub. There's chairs everywhere at a home. So why didn't you stay within view of the attendees? Why did you wander down some narrow hallway into an empty room and lay in a room by yourself and you 13 years old?
Now let me pause Dr. Umar right there, because now this is something that I gotta go ahead and say, just from knowing how drugs and things work. I don't take them, but I know how they function, okay, especially illicit drugs, all right? Now, I could see her actually walking into a room or down a hallway like you were saying and stumbling into a room like that. You know why? Because when you're intoxicated or you're like high on some type of drug, you're not in your right frame of mind. So I could see how she could have wandered off somewhere like that. Think about it. When you're impaired on any type of illicit substance, you're not thinking clearly. So that's the one point of contention I would have there. Not that I buy any of these allegations until they prove this against Jay-Z, but that part right there, I can understand. And like, he's thinking from the standpoint of somebody that's in their sober mind. So I would have contention with that. Yes, if you are impaired or whatever, you're going to do a lot of things that don't make no sense, depending on how strong or whatever you put in your system is. So that part right there, you know, I would have to wage a point of contention. Let's let it continue.
She didn't say somebody led her to the room. She didn't say they asked her to go to the room. From what I read, on her own, she ends up in this room. She lays down. Shortly thereafter, Sean Combs and Sean Carter enters the room together with a mysterious celebrity B, who is alleged to be a female. So then I'm saying to myself, if Sean Combs and Sean Carter are about to sexually assault an underage female, why would you bring a spectator in to witness your crime? Now, it might not be beyond the realm of possibilities, because in that lifestyle, as you and I know, they do a lot of...
Hey, so I'm gonna pause it right here. Family, can y'all hear me okay? Can y'all hear me okay in the chat room, okay? Yeah, I realize we're having a few little issues over here tonight. Can y'all hear me loud and clear? Okay, it's still some buffering. Let me check something real quick, because Dr. Umar is cooking on this thing, man. Hold on, let me check something real quick. 1 second, family. Give me 1 second. Let me see here. Don't have anything else impeding that. All right, hold on. Let's see if this makes a difference. May or may not. Let me tweak a couple of things here. Could y'all hear most of what Umar was saying, though, about that situation, though? Could y'all hear most of it? I don't think it's YouTube this time. I think it's something over here going on with OBS, but could y'all hear most of what he was saying? Y'all missed part of it again? If y'all did, we'll take it back just a little ways, because, listen, he's making a lot of sense with what he's talking about. Making a lot of sense. Hold on, just a second. Let me check something. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Let me check and see if y'all can hear me. Mic check, 1, 2. Hear me now? I can hear me just fine. I see some of y'all saying they cut out. Hold on. Let's see. Nobody can hear me in the chat room. Okay, Patricia Jenkins says yes. Tanisha Murdoch says yes. Okay. Hey, hold on. Yeah, some shenanigans going on. Okay, good deal. We're going to continue where we left off, though. Because, see, where I'm going to go with this tonight, they really don't want you talking about this, so it might be YouTube. I was thinking it was on my end. Nonetheless, we're going to soldier on. Okay? So, family, look, bottom line is this. The allegations that they're making here, talking about, okay, what Jay-Z did with his 13-year-old. First of all, I got to go here before we let this continue. I've always been one to have a big issue with what they did to Bill Cosby and others. They go and drag something up from 40, 20, 30, whatever years ago, and then try to act like this black person was so terrifying and so powerful that, especially when it's somebody in a dominant society, that you just couldn't say nothing about what happened. I'm like, there's no black person on the planet, I don't care how much money you have, that's able to do anything like that to a person in the dominant society. They're not gonna, if you do something to them and they really want to go ahead and turn you in, they're gonna go ahead and do that because they know 9 times out of 10, them folks gonna believe them. The entire legal system is set up to give them the benefit of the doubt over a black person, even if the black person is right. With evidence, we saw that with the OJ trial. To this day, they still think OJ killed them people instead of looking at who really did those murders. Okay, so that's how they always do these types of things when it comes to our people. But see, with this particular situation here and these allegations, I will tell you one thing that I do agree with Jay-Z on doing. If somebody accused you of something like that as a man, especially something so heinous and okay, if they accuse you of something like that, you fight those charges. You fight those charges. Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? If you can't, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to restart the stream. Hold on. Okay, so y'all saying y'all can hear? Is this showing some shenanigans on my side? Let me check something out.
Okay, so y'all saying y'all can hear?
Okay.
All
right, I can hear myself. I can hear myself on my playback here. All right, so I tell y'all what we're going to do. We're going to try to keep this going, man. Hey, I don't know what's going on with OBS tonight over here. I was thinking it wasn't YouTube, but it may be. Nonetheless, we still going to do what we do over here. Okay? All right. So now, I'm going to continue playing where Umar left off. And I want y'all to really listen to this because, again, this goes into giving objective critique versus just hating. Because, see, unfortunately, in our community, you have some people that will think what Umar is saying is hating. No, this is not hate. This man isn't speaking from any animus or any type of personal bias. He's looking at the facts for what they are from what we know so far, okay? So I'm going to continue playing this, and then I'm going to stop it again when he gets to a particular point here.
So they were still the kings of New York 24 years ago. They were still the kings of hip hop 24 years ago. So if you are Jay-Z and Sean Carter, Jay-Z and Sean Combs, Sean Carter and Sean Combs, why would you risk a witness partaking in you sexually assaulting a child? Why bring the witness into the room? I just thought that was a little odd. So anyway, she says Sean Carter assaulted her first, held her down. When he was done, he backed up, and then Sean Combs proceeded to SA her as well, assault her. And then after he SA'd her, he tried to force her to engage in oral sex. She began punching, fighting. She hit him on the neck. Sean Combs backs off. She says she somehow stumbles out of the room, gets her clothes, gets dressed, gets outside. She runs to a gas station. She ends up at the gas station. The gas attendant could clearly see that she's perturbed, she's distraught, she's bewildered, she's traumatized. The gas attendant allows her to use the telephone. She calls her father. Now, this is important, Art, because now you're implicating your father. You're implicating someone else in this now. She says she called her father. The father comes and picks her up. She admits that she tells her father that she lied to get down to Radio City Music Hall to attend the Video Music Awards and or the after party. Now, let me stop right there.
And let me stop the good brother Umar right there because I want to make a couple of points about what he just said. And salute to the good brother Latravia Lawson for the cash out. Thank you very much, my good man. Now, I don't have any children, but if I did, let me tell you something, man. I would be extra vigilant if I had a daughter, all right? Extra vigilant. My daughter tell me she going to XYZ house. First of all, let me just, old school parents, y'all gonna feel me on this. You probably gonna be like, well, GBS, how you know all this? You don't have no kids. Because I was raised in a family where we didn't play the radio. The adults didn't play the radio about the safety of the children in the family, okay? Here's the deal. If I was a father of a daughter, especially both your children, but especially a daughter, okay, you're not going over nobody's crib unless I meet them parents. Okay, we finna coordinate this thing from the A road to the zero. Okay, boom. What time should we come over? How long, the little shindig or whatever y'all throwing is gonna last? You know what I'm saying? I need to know who other kids gonna be over here. Oh, we got to get the rundown on that. And then ain't gonna be none of this somebody drop you off stuff. Oh no, I'm taking you there. And then on top of that, I'm probably gonna just circle back. You know, look, parents, where you at? Black parents, especially married folks in here. How many times you just get that feeling with your kids, you know what I'm saying? Especially you got teenagers, you know what I'm saying, young children. We be like, yeah, I think I need to just go check on them. You know what I'm saying? I would double back like, yeah, you know, I just came back, just check in, you know what I'm saying? Damn, see, look, I already know. My kids be like, damn, Dad, we can't get away with nothing. That's right. That's my job to make sure you don't get away with nothing that could put you in jeopardy because I'm responsible for your protection and your safety. Okay? So I'm just saying, man, it just, with that situation, she says she called her father to come get her or whatever. Because I believe all of this is going to be proven to be lies. I really do. Unless they just come out with some type of, oh, we got some DNA evidence. That's the only way I'm going to believe that. Okay? But now, as a father, how do you sit up here? Because I'm just trying to wrap my head around this being the type of family I grew up in. How your child is missing for this long or what have you, you don't go check up on nothing. And then when she give you that phone call, the way she's describing her father was acting, that just don't sound like no father I know. Especially if your child tell you something like what she said. Man, look here, dog. Boy, I'm coming to get my kid, but when I get there, I ain't going to be doing no talking. Okay? Man, the answers that I get, they better be satisfactory. I better find out that it's a joke or somebody made this up. I mean, look, you wouldn't be able to console me if something like that happened. I don't give a damn who you are, okay? And see, regardless of whether she's telling a lie or not, and I know this goes without saying, but just in case there's young parents listening to this broadcast, you got to be on it with your babies, man. Look, when they able to talk and everything, you got to let them know that there's a reason why they shouldn't be trying to go behind your back and do things because it could put them in danger. And they could put them in a situation where, okay, let's just say they go and do something behind your back or whatever, and they thinking it's going to be innocent. Sometimes, unfortunately, you kids could put yourself in a situation where you may not get a do-over. You might put yourself in a situation where even if your parents do find out what's going on, it might be too late to get to you. The world is crazy. It is wicked. Yes, you're young. I know you want to have a good time and have fun, but you got to be careful with what you do out here. Never do anything that's going to put yourself at risk, that's going to put your parents in a situation where they got to be trying to get you out of extreme danger because you just may not make it out of that. You have to have these real conversations with your kids, man, because look, we've all been children. Yes, children do silly things because you don't really understand the nature of the world, especially if you're in a good family that shelters you from a lot. Okay? You have to let them know that, listen, within this confine of this family unit that we have here, this home, okay, you got all your kin folks around, your uncles, your aunties, big brothers, cousins, okay? You got to let them know that outside of this, the world is not your friend, especially for a minor. Unfortunately, we live in a society today where there's evil out here in the world that seeks to prey on the weakest in the world, okay? Whether it's minor children or elderly people, handicapped folks, I mean, this is a reality. So you have to let them know and give them that talking to early so that they, at least when they go out here, whatever they're going to do, they'll have a boundary that they won't cross because they'll be like, nah, I got sense enough to know not to go across this line and put my parents in a situation where they're going to be like, okay, what am I going to do? Where's my kid at? And see, this is another thing. Let me say this before we get back to Dr. Umar. Speaking directly to any children that might be listening to this broadcast, okay? Please don't get in the habit of trying to do things behind your parents' back without them knowing where you at, because them knowing where you are could be a matter of life or death. Sometimes that lie could be the difference maker between you seeing your loved ones again or not, okay? So always use your head in those situations. No matter how cliche it sounds, make sure no matter what kind of fun you have, it's going to be fun where you get to come back home to your parents. Let it continue.
If the father is still alive, rest in peace if he is not. If the father is still alive, Art, he's going to be subpoenaed to take the stand. He's going to have to testify. What did your daughter say when she called you? Did she call you? What did you say to her? How did you respond? How long did it take you to get to the gas station to pick her up? And the bigger questions, Art, the bigger question for the father, why didn't you drive your daughter to a hospital or to the police precinct to make a report? Why did you all go home? Did you take her to the police precinct for a police report, criminal complaint on the two most popular men in the hip hop industry? Or did you take her to a hospital to make sure she was safe, that she hadn't been harmed or hurt, broken bones, STDs, whatever the case may be, a rape hit? And if he took her daughter home, Art, I believe that's going to seriously undermine their argument, because what black father you know, you, me, or the brother down the street, if our daughter tells us she was assaulted and we go pick her up and we can tell she not right, we doing one of three things. We going to the police, we going to the hospital, or we going back to the after party and we about to turn it out. Do you feel?
Now, I got to pause it right here because I'm with the brother on that. See, first and foremost, we don't wish that to happen to anybody, especially any sisters in our community, okay? No matter their age. That is a despicable, vile, evil thing to force yourself on someone. But in the event that any of this happens to be true, and I don't believe it is until I see evidence otherwise to the contrary, in the event that any of this happens to be true, I'm with Umar on that. The first thing that you would want to do once you get your child and get her out of harm's way, you definitely want to report this to the police. You definitely want to go ahead and get the kit done so that you have DNA to punish the person. And see, I'm going to be honest with you. If it was me, I would have my wife take my daughter down there so they can get all that handled. But where I'm going to go, I'm trying to find whoever did that to my child. That's how I would operate, okay? Better get to him before I do, because if I catch the son of a bitch, it ain't going to be no trial, okay? I wouldn't care who it was. So I'm with Umar on everything he's saying, and probably every man in the chat room that has a child or daughter, especially if you married or not, I know you feel me on that. Your babies are a part of you, man. Look, let me tell you something, man. I don't care what issues and problems I have with somebody, anybody. One thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to bother your kids, man. Y'all know that I leave people kids out of anything when I give critiques over here, unless it's just something that's really germane to any particular news story. I don't believe in messing with folks' kids. I don't believe in messing with people's wives. None of that, okay? If I got an issue with another man, I'm going to handle it with him directly. Okay, that's how I prefer it. But we know the world doesn't operate that way today, okay? But see, in this situation here with these allegations, man, if they did have any evidence, okay, because I just cannot see how a father wouldn't do some of the things I just said as far as on the legal end of it, filing a police report, going to the hospital to get the kid done so that you got, proof and evidence to punish this person. How you going to sit on something for 30, 40 years, man? No, man, 20 years, that don't make no... Look, let me be very responsible in my words when it comes to that, because I don't want any sister listening to this broadcast to think I'm somebody that makes light of sexual abuse in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But I can understand a couple of days a woman be shook up, 2-3 days, something like that, because that's a traumatic experience that most men will never understand, okay? But at some point within a week, you got to tell somebody. to punish that person and make sure they can't do that to anybody else. You got to, okay? You got to. And see, let me talk to the brothers. Let me talk to the brothers that's under the sound of my voice. I know most of you brothers over here, if you listen to me, you stand up men. I don't really have a bunch of fuck boys over here on this channel, so I already know y'all gonna feel me on this. As men, it's up to us to make sure that the women under our charge and our families under our protection understand that, hey, look, you know, if XYZ happen, you know to come tell me so we can go ahead and get this taken care of, okay? You got to make sure that they know that they're valued enough and important enough and loved enough in the family that, hey, if something happened to them, you don't need to be ashamed of anything. And Lord knows, here's the thing that really pissed men off. Some of these sisters, man, see, this is why I can't jump on that incel bandwagon. Some of these sisters, man, something like that will happen to them. And because, bless their heart, man, they don't want nothing to happen to their father or brothers or cousin, because they know if they're in a particular type of family, everybody got at least a handful of people in that family that ain't trying to hear nothing. They don't want to see us go to prison or do anything, crash out. I'm like, look, ladies, it's some things in life worth crashing out for, okay? It's some things in life worth crashing out for. Look, let me tell y'all like this. If a person tell you, oh man, I ain't gonna never go to prison for this, that, and the third. Okay, yeah, sure, I agree with that if you're talking about for some silly stuff or some petty things. But if you say that you will never go to prison under any circumstances, then I can tell you don't had never loved nothing. Because everybody in here that love their children, that's something I'm pretty sure you willing to go ahead and do some time for if need be. I know I would be. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have kids. There's certain people in my life that if I find out you did something too, man, I will fuck you up 6 ways to Sunday. Listen, God rest all of our elders that have transitioned, but when my grandparents was alive on either side of my family, man, if you even spit wrong in their direction, boy, look, my family don't play about that. We were the one, because look, let me tell you why I was like that. It was somewhat of a blood in, blood out thing before we get back to Umar. When it came to protection, we had an early example of it because the elders in our family, in my particular family, on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side, if you did something to their grandbabies, they was coming. They ain't want to hear nothing about nothing. They was coming to get in your ass, okay? So when we got older and we became able, we had to reciprocate that because those memories were there. We're like, hey, man, this grandma and granddad, they was riders. They didn't play the radio about us when we was kids. So you damn right you're not going to disrespect them at all. They were living, man, boy, we would give you the unholy business about that shit. And you better not say nothing wrong out your mouth about them, too. You understand? So I know most of us that are foundational Black American freedmen in here can relate to that. Every one of y'all probably got somebody or had somebody in your family that fit that description of what I just said, okay? So again, I want to say this again, brothers. I know we got to deal with a lot in the world. It is not an easy thing to be a Black man in America, no matter your lineage, but you have to take the time to let those under your charge and your family know. Just pull them to the side of that round. They may not understand it. They might think you tripping, but you got to let them know. Not just during holiday time, that year round. Sometimes just do it at random. Hey, you know I love you, right? You know I'll do anything to protect you. And if you need me, I got your back. Don't hesitate to come and call me first. You understand? All of us got to make sure that we let our women and children and those under our charge and our families know this. So we're going to let Dr. Umar continue. We're going to further break this down.
Me, Art, them the only, there's no other option. This is my 13-year-old baby. My 13-year-old baby got SA'd by Sean Carter, allegedly, and Sean Combs, allegedly. And I don't drive her to the hospital. I don't drive her to the police precinct to make a report. And I don't show up with her uncles and cousins to the after party to turn it out. Something don't look right. So then we go further, Art. We go further. 24 years pass. 24 years. Y'all don't do nothing. Y'all don't say nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, Art. If she was an adult woman, I could understand her having to deal with her trauma before she comes forward. But she was a child. She was a child, which means it's up to her parents to press charges. It's up to her parents to get an attorney. It's up to her parents to make the police report. So, as a mother and father, why didn't you seek legal justice for your child? These questions are going to come up. Now, in the civil suit paperwork, Art, her attorney based in Houston, Texas, according to the civil suit, she demands a jury trial. That really caught me, Art. I was surprised at that. She's demanding a jury trial. Why am I surprised? Because, Art, if she's demanding a jury trial, she's going to have to take the stand. She has to testify. Remember, the only people who can plead the fifth are the people being accused of the crime. Jay-Z can plead the fifth. Sean Combs can plead the fifth because they are the defendants. She is bringing the case. So do you know what that means? She's going to have to take the stand, Art. And I'm saying to myself, are you sure you want to do this? If it's not true, and it could be true. I want to be honest about this. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. I'm going to look at this from both sides. And if the sister is telling the truth, Art, I pray to God she get every penny she wants. I pray to God that those who assaulted her get the worst karma that's out here in the universe. Nobody should ever abuse a child. There's nothing worse than a sexual assault.
So now I'm going to pause it again just to reiterate for those that have never heard this or just coming in. This is when, people was thinking that it was a black person and it turns out it's a white woman, from what we understand. But I concur with Dr. Umar. I don't want to believe this is true about Jay-Z. I doubt it's true. But if it is, I don't give a damn who do that. A 13-year-old, yeah, you need to get everything that's coming to you, okay? You do. Because, see, y'all know my stance on this. A lot of people don't like when I say this, but I'm going to say it again, and I have to question grown men that think this way or grown women. None of us, especially if you in your 30s and up, should be dating anybody in the teen range, 18, 19. Those are teenagers. They're still teenagers. I don't give a damn about none of this. Well, they're adults. No, the fuck they not. You ain't an adult in this country till you're 21. Nor is your mind fully developed until 25, okay? So teens should be off limit, let alone when you go that low. And see, again, okay, let's just go on the side like Umar was saying, if any of this happens to be true. He's right. In that lifestyle, I've shown y'all on this channel plenty of instances and broke things down about how things go behind the scenes. Those of you that know what I do for a living, one of the things I do for a living, y'all know the stuff that I've told y'all I've seen and witnessed and try to break it down here on this channel. But see, even if you were at a situation like that, if I'm there and I see some young person walk in, first of all, any one of us can tell if somebody that young, 13, 14, 15, something like that. I don't care how well developed they are. Even if you couldn't tell, let's just say for whatever reason you couldn't tell. Once you get to talking to that person, you're like, oh yeah, this a kid, man. Now, a normal person, a sick motherfucker wouldn't even care nothing about that one way or another, but a normal person would, okay? So now here's the other thing. Let's take it back to the adults. And this is something I want to tell anybody listening to me, because there'll be a young person, no matter what you got going on. You want to be the person where no matter where you go, if you read the room and you see something don't look right and you got a promising future ahead of you, you need to be the person to be like, all right, yep, I'm about to bounce, man. I get it, y'all. I'm finna ride, man. I don't care whether you see somebody, they over there doing a whole bunch of cocaine somewhere or whatever it is, man. Something illegal, something crazy. Look, let me tell you something I don't like. I'm gonna tell you what I don't do to try to make sure that I'm not in no type of crazy situations like this where if somebody try to accuse me of something, it's gonna be an open shut case because you're gonna be telling a bold-faced lie. I'm not big on going to these parties where people at that I don't know, especially in a big enough area where it's alcohol and drugs and stuff, because ain't no telling what's gonna happen. And see, depending on who you are, if somebody do something stupid and you the biggest name in that place, hey, you getting swept up in it too. You know why? This is the fucked up part. You probably didn't have nothing to do with it. But if your name is big enough and the prosecutor is looking to make a name for themselves, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be implicated too. Now, I know what you're saying, GBS. for the young people, because the older people know where I'm going. You saying, GBS, well, if you didn't do anything, man, well, you shouldn't have nothing to worry about, right? Wrong, because even if you prove an innocent everything, clear to the charges, the damage to your reputation, especially as a black man, has been done. I don't care what happened. For example, a shout out to our good brother Tariq Nasheed. He had an excellent X Space the other night there. They were discussing, the Beyonce performance, and the conversation went to the point where it was talking about, okay, who's better between Usher and Chris Brown performance-wise? And somebody brought up a couple of good points. A couple of people brought this point up. They were saying that, and look, I got to agree with this. They were saying that Chris Brown would be a bigger entertainer if he didn't get into that situation with Rihanna. And I agree with that, because he was on the upswing before that happened. And it's like, of course, he's still a great performer. The man is doing great things. But, due to the way things are set up, no matter how much you pay for something that you did wrong, if you black in America, they think you're supposed to be punished forever, okay? It don't even matter if the person that you wrong or whatever say, hey, look, I done got past that, I forgive the person. It don't matter. So we have to be extra careful to take care of our reputations. Let's let it continue.
Of a woman. There's no crime worse than the sexual assault of a woman. There's no crime worse than the abuse of a child. And when you combine them, Art, sex assault of a female with sex abuse of a child, that's the worst crime on the planet Earth. So if that lady is innocent, I pray to God she get all the help she's entitled to. I pray to God she get every penny that she's suing for, and any karma that comes to those who are responsible for that, they deserve it. So I will never defend anybody against injustice. But if she is fabricating this story, Art, it's going to come out on the stand. The lawyers are going to put her up there, Art, and they're going to try to make her look like she's some kind of promiscuous, money-grabbing, stereotypical inner-city young girl.
Now, let me pause this right here, too, because, see, I've always been of the mindset that if somebody is lying about something like that, and it's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that you lied, I ain't talking about something that's ambiguous or technicality. I'm talking about it's proven that you just made this fabrication up for whatever your motives were. I've always said that I think that the person doing that, male or female, you should have to do the same sentence that that person that would have got convicted of, because that's not funny, man. You shouldn't be able to come out and accuse nobody, man or woman, of doing something. You just lying, and it's proven that you lied, and then they just say, oh, well, she just made it up, or he just made it up. Hell no. Grab that bastard. And if the sentence was going to be 25, 30 years, well, you got to do these 25 to 30, and you need to walk them down to the door. Because, look, I just don't like that in society. I don't like making up lies on folks, man. That's something, my man, I just will not co-sign. Making up lies on people. Hell no. If you lying and you damaging somebody's reputation like that, no, you should be punished for that. And that's one of the things that need to change in this country. Now, I get it. A lot of people are saying, well, that's a slippery slope, and it is, but you can still do things the right way to where if you determine that somebody's lying and you find out, beyond the shadow of all doubt, I'm not talking about for any ambiguous cases, because I know a lot of people are like, well, that'll make real victims not want to come forward. No, not if you do it the right way, it won't. I'm talking about specifically the cases where somebody's lying. There should be a penalty attached to that, and you should have to do some time. And no, it shouldn't be no slap on the wrist, like 1 to 5 years. Whatever the sentence was going to be for the person that you lied on, you should have to do that same amount of time. Let it continue.
They're going to ask her, were you a virgin until September 7th, the year 2000? Sex with before September the 7th, the year 2000. They're going to ask her, were you part of a sex ring? Did you have a pimp? Was it your pimp who dropped you off at Radio City Music Hall and not some friend of yours? How many 13-year-olds have a friend they can call to drop them off? Were you on an assignment by your pimp? Ask her these things. How many partners did you have by that time? And the big...
All right. Now, you just heard what Dr. Umar was saying here. And let me know if y'all can still hear me, because, yeah, they're going to mess with this one tonight, because we got to tell this truth over here. Listen. When it comes to this evidence thing, we got to just go ahead and call it what it is. This is clear proof that we still live in a system of white supremacy, okay? Because, see, look how hard it is to convict a white person of something like that, even if they're dealing with other white folks. Because for example, let's go back to the Harvey Weinstein case, okay? It was looking like he was going to beat that at one point in time. Y'all remember that? I remember being one of the people I like, yeah, they going to give him a slap on the wrist. He ain't going to really do the time. However, I'm going to tell you what I believe happened with Harvey Weinstein. He pissed off too many of the wrong folks in the dominant society. They're like, yeah, we're going to make an example out of you. We going to make an example out of you. You going, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they will sacrifice one of their own if you've been extra grimy to their people. But when it come to us, you don't need no evidence. That's just a nigga. Go ahead and lock them up. You know what I'm saying? So see, this kind of goes back, and I got to put politics in it. The so-called Democrats that are black people's good friends, why weren't they doing anything about this? They clearly see this. Commandment and Jim Crow Joe and all the rest of them. See all that symbolism crap? Nah. Help my people with real issues that you see we going through. That's what I require. So if you're not ready to do that, don't ask me for my vote, okay? Because we the only group in America where people don't have no proof whatsoever. They can just accuse you of anything. And see, this is something I don't believe in. Even if you don't like a person, if you are going to accuse them of a crime, it should be some evidence there, okay? It should be some evidence to the contrary. And it should have to be proven in court that, okay, this is what happened, this is what didn't happen. But when you're black, none of that matters. So now, dealing with what Umar was talking about here, it's just an odd set of circumstances that you will have people in the dominant society. Oh, but we just saw how they was carrying on, making Daniel Penny a hero, this, that, the third. But then, when it comes to black folks, anything we just simply accused of, never mind done. Oh man, they all on board. We just know you did it. And see, this is why anybody that's talking about we live in a post-racist society, you got to be twice the fool it take to be one. Because see, let me ask my audience this. How many cases, whether you like Jay-Z or not, okay, because this ain't about whether you personally like him, how many cases can you name like Jay-Z where the accuser is coming out and it's been 20, 30 years ago? How many cases can you name where it's a white person that they going after? They just be quick to believe it. Then all these attorneys and just victim after victim coming forward. And see, that's another thing too. This Tony Busbee bastard, man, and we all heard about his reputation. If I was the judge presiding over that case, I'd be like, listen, man, these witnesses that you talking about, you better come to me with some evidence before we put some charges on this man. Because see, you just pulling somebody out and they got an anecdotal story. They can say anything. Where's the damn proof? But see, what I'm saying is too much like right though, family. So we're going to let it continue. I want y'all to pay attention to what Dr. Umar is about to say next, because he's going to make some very good points coming up very soon.
Celebrity B is a friend. Celebrity B is a friend of Sean Combs and is a friend of Sean Carter. They not giving them up. Whoever Celebrity B is, I don't see them giving up Puff or Jay. I don't see it. I don't see it. So if it was only 4 of you in this room, and the only person who can testify as to whether or not you were SA'd by Carter and Combs is their friend Celebrity B, Art, what do you have to prove that you were alone with them? Number one, material evidence you had sex with them. What evidence do that they assaultery? How do we know you was alone with them too? How do we know that you had sex with them too? How do we know you was assaulted by them too? Art, let me draw a parallel. The only way I see, maybe there is some video surveillance from 24 years ago. They said Puffy taped everything. Maybe they could find the tape. That's one thing right there. Number two, the only other thing I could see is if she pulled a Monica Lewinsky. Now, if she pulled a Monica Lewinsky and she has a pair of jeans or a skirt or a dress or a blouse that has Sean Combs's DNA or Sean Carter's DNA on it, Art, that would make sense. Maybe she tucked away the dress she wore and is hanging in a closet somewhere. It's possible. Now, if she got their DNA, she got them. There's nothing to argue here. If that young lady saved the clothing she wore from 24 years ago, and it has Sean Combs's and Sean Carter's DNA on it, she got him. You cannot argue against that. But if she ain't got a Monica Lewinsky dress in the closet, Art, and keep in mind, Monica Lewinsky, her situation got exposed 3 years after her affair with President Clinton. 3 years after the affair, Art, she still had the dress. We're not talking 3 years. We're talking 24 years after the crime. If there's no material evidence, if there's no witnesses, how can she win this case? How can she win this case? Now, I want to go somewhere else with this too, Art. Now, I do have a question. If they were in the room with her, let's say allegedly and hypothetically, Sean Combs and or Sean Carter says, we were intimate with her at the VMA after party that Puff threw on September 7th, the year 2000. Yes, we were intimate with her. We did not SA her. There was no assault. It was voluntary intimacy. We were with her. But because she signed the NDA, because she showed up at the party, because she looked to be an adult, we didn't know that we were committing a crime. Let's just say they say we were with her, but it wasn't SA and we didn't know her age. That's not going to fly, Art. That defense will not work. And the reason it's not going to work for two main reasons. Number one, it is your responsibility as a grown man to ensure that you're not having relations with an underage woman. You feel me, Art? It is your legal responsibility as a man to ensure that the woman you're having sexual relations with is not underage. So the fact that they thought she was older, the fact that they presented her with an NDA, that does not absolve them of culpability in this. They're guilty. The other reason is this, Art. I work in schools, right? We all know 13-year-old girls. We got nieces, we got cousins, we got daughters, we got it all. Is it possible, Art, that a grown man can't tell a 13-year-old girl isn't underage? Like for me, Art, I don't know how. 16, they look a little older. 16, they may have the whole body of a full-grown woman. We know our women mature faster. We understand that. Then with the hormones they put in the food, they got breasts, they got buttocks, they got it all at 15, 16, 17. I get it. But 13, Art? 13 to me, even if her body is fully developed like a woman at 13, her face, when you look in her face, I don't know how you can mistake a 13-year-old girl for a grown woman. Keep in mind,
you absolutely can't mistake them for a grown woman. And see, let me deal with a couple of things he just brought up here regarding that. All right. Even if it's a well-developed 15, 16-year-old, whatever the case may be, man, even if you just looked at them from a distance and said, okay, yeah, that looked like a grown woman. Like I said, by the time you get up and start talking to them, and even if you don't talk to them, just watch how they act. They gonna act like teenagers, okay? There's no way that you can't tell. And see, let me go further back and deal with something else Dr. Umar just said. I want y'all to pay attention to this, okay? Because see, I know we got a lot of smart people that like to listen to broadcasts like this and try to find loopholes in what you're saying. You better go and look up what I'm about to tell you if you're one of those people. I doubt it's anybody in the audience. But even if there's consenting grown adults that sign NDAs, y'all better pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. You can look it up. Don't believe me. Even if it's grown consenting adults that sign NDAs, in the event that a crime has been committed or suspected to be committed, an NDA is null and void. I'm going to say it again. Even if you have grown consenting adults that sign NDAs, in the event where they're suspected of a crime or a crime has been alleged to be committed, that NDA is worthless. Do you hear me? Okay. See, a lot of people will hear those terms, they mistake that. So I just want to be very responsible and point that out, because I wish Umar would have said that. But like I said, don't take my word for it. Do your research on these things, because when I report something over here, I want to make sure my people have good information, good knowledge, keep you out of things ahead of time. And again, I want to say this to young black men and women alike, especially young black men. Be careful about when you go places about reading the room, man. If you're going to go to any type of party or whatever situation, you better know the people that you're dealing with. And look, I'm going to be honest, even if it's good people sometimes, if it's a bunch of people being invited someplace and you don't know all them folks, sometimes you might better take your leave, man, because ain't no telling what's going to happen, especially if it's alcohol and it's drugs or what have you, okay? You don't want to be there when the goofiness go down, okay? Just save yourself a world of trouble and exercise some type of discernment and judgment on certain things so that you're not in these situations. Because, see, if you black in America, these situations are easy to get into, but it's hard as hell and damn near impossible for you to get out of it, even if you didn't do anything. Let it continue.
Art, there is no BBL culture back then. There is no real breast surgery culture back then. There are no fake eyelashes back then. There's really nothing in the year 2000 that a 13-year-old girl could add to herself to make it look like she's older. Now, with that being said, I have had this conversation with some of my female supporters, Art. And some of my female supporters argue, Dr. Umar, these 13-year-old girls out here, if they put on the right makeup and they wear the right clothing, they can easily look 18 and 19. This is what some sisters are saying. I'm still on the other side of the fence, Art. I understand what they're saying, that at 13, you can dress yourself up enough and look grown and fresh enough to be mistaken for 18 and 19. 18 and 19, Art, I'm still asking for your license. You feel me? If you 18 and 19, you could be 16 and 17. I need your... Here's another big thing that's working Carter, Art. Another big thing working in most, and I own schools and being a school psychologist. In most states, Art, only...
So I'm going to pause it right here and deal with something that he was just saying there, okay? Because I don't want to leave no wiggle room for this over here on this broadcast tonight. Even if a 13-year-old put on makeup, eyelashes, lipstick, all of that, even if she was of a certain height, okay, where you be like, okay, she's XYZ size, that's probably a grown woman. Again, you can't get out the fact that, one, they're going to still act childish like teenagers. And number two, when you talk to them, how you don't know you're talking to an underage girl? And look, here's the best rule of thumb for all. Fellas, listen to me. If for whatever reason that you can't tell none of the things I just said, if you got to guess how old she is, or you not sure, guess what you're supposed to do? Nope, I'm good. I'm cool. Until you present me with some type of ID and I get this verified that you are that age, nah, ain't nothing I can do with you, okay? That's your best rule of thumb right there. I get it. That ain't, that's not the popular train of thought, but listen. Ask yourself this question. Whether it's the popular train of thought or not, which would you rather be, free and able to go on with your life, or you indulge things that people that don't have good common sense will indulge in, and then you're in a situation where you facing charges that you may not get out of, and see the worst thing in the world, in my opinion, you mess around, man, and get put on that sex offender registry. Hell no. That will permanently ruin your reputation, especially behind something silly. Man, no. Exercise discernment, gentlemen. It will save you a world of trouble. Let's let it continue.
Applies to 14 and 15-year-olds. I want you to follow me on this. And this is going to be a big piece that they're going to try to use to convict them of this. Well, not convict, because this is a civil trial, not a criminal trial. But Art, if Jay-Z is found liable of the civil suit.
Hey, I'm with my brother Dad Miller TV on that. They're like, hey, if you don't want to listen the hard way, well, you can be popular in the cell block then. Exactly. And look, if you go to the cell block, especially for those that ain't built that way, You might meet the Booty Warrior in there. You know what I'm saying? Because you know him. You know, he still say he misses. So he might go back in. You know what he tell you? I like shit and I want shit. I'm just saying, you might be the one that you like and want. So, hey, you right. You spot on with that, Dad Miller TV. Let's let it continue.
Technically, he may be convicted in the court of public opinion anyway, if you follow what I'm saying. Like, if he's found liable, if Sean Carter is found liable to have aided, abetted, or participated in the sexual assault of an underage child, I don't know what kind of career might be left after that. But stay with me. Some people will say, well, Donald Trump was found criminally liable for the rape of a woman just a few years ago, and he still got reelected as president, so anything's possible in America. I get it, but Donald Trump is not a black man. Now, staying on point, here's the issue, Art. In most states in the United States, sexual statutory rape is for 14 and 15-year-old girls. And the boy has to be 4 years older than them. So if your 14-year-old daughter has an 18-year-old boyfriend and you don't like him, you could bring him up on statutory rape. If your 15-year-old daughter got a 19-year-old boyfriend and you don't like him, you can bring him up on statutory rape. And most states are 16 years old. 16 is the age of sexual majority. Once you turn 16, you can pretty much be intimate with whoever you want, and it cannot be considered rape. So 16, they're sexually liberated. I don't agree with that, by the way, but that's white man law in America. 16 is sexually liberated. 14 and
I got to agree with Umar. I don't agree with that either, man, because that's still a kid, 16 years old. And see, look, let's talk about that for a second. Because even though I don't agree with that, along with Umar, that 16, that's a kid, man. Do y'all know, and I've proven this over here in past broadcasts, do y'all know that the age of consent in some countries is much lower than that? Oh, I'm telling you what I know, not what I think. In some countries, the age of consent is as low as 13, 12, 11. Now, there are some of these countries that have bumped that age up, but I know what the age used to be. Okay, so when a lot of these goofy tellers get to coming over, be like, hey, man, ain't you from that country, man, where the age of consent is like 13 and y'all be selling children off to arranged marriages and all that kind of weird shit? Huh? So I'm just saying, don't let these people get disrespectful at the mouth when they come over here and start talking crazy, because all you got to do is just do your homework on things. And this is why I tell y'all, travel is the best education that you can get. But see, now, dealing with this whole, age of consent thing, all right? Man, 16 years old. Why would you even, if you know that for a fact, this is a teenager, you grown, something is broken in you, man. That is not normal. These are not people that, if it was up to me, boy, I'm telling you, I already told y'all what I would do. I would take care of that situation by people preying on children if I was running this country. Yeah, this would be the most pedophile, unfriendly country on the face of the earth, okay? But now, dealing with this age of consent thing here, that low, listen, man, the laws in society need to be updated, because, see, a lot of this stuff, the laws are archaic. They're outdated. They're from like a different time period. Back when people didn't live as long, a lot of these laws were in place to ensure that property was passed down, et cetera, et cetera. I've always said that one of the things that I hope that I live to see is the younger generation say, okay, look, a lot of these outdated, archaic laws on the books need to be updated to fit modern day society, okay? It must be, because a lot of this stuff that we operate on, man, it just doesn't fit current society today with where we are, all right? Or where we should be as a people, okay? And look, I'm always going to put the moral high ground over here in Black America, because at least the greater majority of us, even though we have degenerates amongst us in society, the greater majority of Black folks would be the first one to say, hey, man, that's not right. That ain't cool, man. We've always been the soul of this country as far as morality. This is why I don't allow these other groups to disrespect us, especially them folks. Be honest with you, man. Can y'all imagine what this country would be if Black folks wasn't here? See, they think that it would be great. All you got to do is look back at these Europeans past to know what they were doing to each other. That would show you what this country would be. Anywhere where we're not and it's just them, oh boy, the degeneracy, boy. I might have to do a whole broadcast on that now that I think about it and just show y'all a couple of things. Boy, a lot of y'all that don't really travel like that, man, listen. But that's for a future time. Again, I agree with Dr. Umar on this, and that age of consent, that needs to be revisited. And these laws that are outdated like that, especially in that area, need to be updated to fit society. Let's let it continue.
15, it's statutory rape if the boy than them or the man is 4 years older than them. Now check this out, Art. If the child is 13 or younger, if the child is 13 or younger, it's not statutory rape. It's automatic, it's not statutory sex abuse. It's automatic sex abuse of a child. Because according to the letter of the law, a 13-year-old child, Art, isn't old enough to consent to sex. You feel me on that? The law says if the child is 13, they're not, even if Combs and Carter, allegedly, if they did this, even if they said we had consensual relations with her, it's still considered sex assault, Art, because she's only 13. And in the United States of America, a 13-year-old child cannot consent to voluntary sex because they don't have the psychological resources to understand the verbal contract that they're entering into. So if Puff or Jay said this happened, they automatically are going to be found liable for the sexual assault of this child. And I hope this didn't happen. I really hope that this didn't happen, Art, because first of all, for the child, I hope that this woman who's now 37, 38 years old, I hope that this didn't happen because I don't ever want to see this happen to no female. And we know Black women are assaulted more than all other groups of women, and their perpetrators are less likely to be held accountable, Art. But here's another thing that got to be looked at too. Here's another thing that has to be looked at too. From the political side, Art, from the political side, we had Bill Cosby convicted in 2018. We had R. Kelly convicted in Brooklyn in 2021 and convicted again in Chicago in 2022. We had Sean Combs currently held in custody awaiting trial in 2024. And now we got her not being accused of criminal behavior, but behavior that could have him found civilly responsible for the abuse of this woman. The point that I'm getting at, Art, that's four. That's 4 Black male billionaires in 6 years. If we just take 2018 to 2024, we have seen a Black male billionaire publicly destroyed once every year and a half. A Black male billionaire publicly destroyed.
All right, so I'm going to pause the good doctor right here. And now I'm going to go into what I think. Y'all probably hadn't heard too many people say this, and I could be wrong, but I want y'all to follow my line of thought on this, and you let me know what you think in the chat room, because I'm going to be looking to see if y'all think that this is plausible or not. Family, you know why I believe Jay-Z got these charges on him now? Let's go back to the Diddler situation. You know, when he first got arrested and tried to post bail, they're like, nah, we can't let you up out of here, even though Vince McMahon should be right in there with him. Yeah, I said it. Vince McMahon is actually proof that he's done. He's saying his ass ain't in no cell. He need to be right in there with the Diddler. But remember when they first locked Diddy up? They didn't want to give him no bail. Then he tried to get it again. They denied him, okay? I could be wrong, family, but I'm gonna tell you what I think could have happened. I just think this is possible. I believe the Diddler went and dropped a dime on Jay-Z. Even if it ain't true, he probably like, okay, if I'm gonna be in here, I'm telling. And that, I mean, what y'all think? That's a possibility. I don't want to believe Jay-Z did any of this, and it's not because I'm a Jay-Z fan or not that I hate Jay-Z. I just don't believe this woman's story. But y'all remember that this didn't happen until he got denied on that second bail, right? Come on now. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all think that could be possible? Because I mean, think about it. The type of lifestyle that this man was living. If he recognized that he ain't never going home, he gonna tell on some more people. Think about it. That's why all them people think, y'all, follow me. Because the average person be like, you just hate. No, I'm being objective and I'm using logical thought. Remember when all them celebrities start scrubbing their social media, they just, don't nobody know him. Ain't nobody hung out with him before. Everybody left the Diddy parties at 9. Just everybody, Just everybody, oh man, I'm tired. I got to go in. Everybody, their mama left the Diddy party at 9, And Jay-Z himself, man, we weren't never friends. I'm like, oh, come on, dog. Don't even do that. Don't say y'all wasn't cool like that. Look, you don't spend that much time with people that you're not cool with, even if you in the same profession. Now, again, I don't believe these allegations, but I'm just saying it's just mighty funny the timing that this stuff popped up after he got denied that second bill. Now, I might be barking up the wrong tree, but I tell you one thing, this is something I always say. Time is the great reveal of all things. And we're going to see the truth will come out in the end. Let's let it continue.
Every 18 months for the past 6 years. Now, even if you believe that these men are no good and they committed this crime, I don't have a problem with that. If they're guilty, I'm not defending no one who abuses women or abuses children. I want to be clear about that. But if they are innocent, Art, and I do believe Bill Cosby was, I don't believe Puffy engaged in interstate sexual trafficking against people's will. I don't believe that. Sean Carter, I don't know, but I don't believe it. It still remains to be seen. But here's the point that I'm getting at, Art. If these men are innocent of even some of these charges, this clearly speaks to an agenda and a conspiracy to destroy black male billionaires in this country. We only have but so many of them. The only ones left after this, look at this, Art, you got Cosby. He was an elder, but nonetheless, he's the most significant black television figure in the history of American media. Bill Cosby, the first black man with his own TV show. Bill Cosby opened up the door for Richard Pryor. So you got rid of Bill Cosby, or at least you destroyed him publicly. R. Kelly got sentenced to 30 years in Brooklyn, Eastern District of New York Fed Court. Then he picked up another 20 years, Art, in 2022, Northern Illinois Federal District. So he got 30 years in Brooklyn Federal Court, 20 years in Chicago Federal Court. They want R. Kelly to die in jail, Art. He ain't supposed to never get out. He was 54. He was 54 years old when he got convicted in Brooklyn. That was September of 2021. You get a 30-year sentence, Art, and you 54. You get out when? 84 years old. They basically telling.
So let me pause it right here because Dr. Umar is right about what they're saying. We know that to be true. They really don't want that man to ever get out of prison. And I'm just saying, let me say this. This is what I want black men to understand. Black people, period, but especially black men that are on their way up and successful, or if you're already there. This is why it's very important that you are aware of the system of white supremacy that you in. And if you know that, you, no matter how much success you have, how much money you got, you must exercise self-discipline and tell yourself no. Because when you get to a certain point, status, and you got all this wealth or whatever, a lot of people are going to be yes men, which is the most dangerous thing to have around anybody. People that just kiss your ass, will never tell you when you're wrong, okay? That's very dangerous because those people don't care about you. They're just around you to get whatever they can get out of you. But you must have the self-discipline as a man to say, hey, look, just because I can do something doesn't mean I should, okay? That's a lifesaver. Listen, I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm a saint. I'm not the devil either, but I got common sense enough not to do silly things that'll have me brought up on charges. My thing is this. My family and my community know that if somebody accused me of something crazy like that, they'll be like, oh, no. You better show us some proof because that one, oh, hell no. You going to have to fabricate some shit and plant something. Ain't none of that going. Because, see, I'm the type of man where I use my head at all times. The one upstairs, okay? I'm just not going to put myself in certain situations. I'm going to make it extra hard for you to put charges on me. And see, this is where when you have a drug addiction, when you have an alcohol problem or whatever, or if you have some type of particular vice and you in that industry, or if you're an athlete, Hollywood, whatever, that can be exploited, okay? You got to understand how these white supremacists operate. I just wish more black men understood that just because you have a bit more wealth than the person that, the average person from your community where you came from, and just because you rubbing shoulders with important white people, that doesn't mean that you get the same level of privilege in society that they do. And unfortunately, you have some silly Negroes that think that they can go and do all the stuff that white folks do, especially up there on Capitol Hill. Oh boy, the tales that could be told about up there. They think that they can do everything that white folks do. And then they remind you that, oh no, we wanted you to think that because see, look, let me say this. In the dominant society, the biggest and most cruel joke is them letting you get in there and think that you one of them. And then at a time of their choosing, when you on the upswing, they just yank that rug out from under you and remind you that, nah, you still one of your people. Get on back down there. Look at these silly jokers that got caught up in that whole thing where they was trying to hide them ballots down here in Georgia and other places. It was black folks, silly, crashing out for folks that wouldn't piss on you to put you out if you was on fire. All I'm saying, family, is use your brain, exercise discipline, learn to tell yourself no, because that's important. Only you as an adult can control certain actions of yours, okay? And you want to make sure that you're in a good disciplinary space where you can, tell yourself, hey, just because I can do something doesn't mean I should. It could save you a world of trouble and litigation and possibly a lifetime of a ruined reputation. Let's let it continue.
You joining your ancestors from prison. And then even after that, he gets convicted by another federal court of an additional 20 years in Chicago. So basically, R. Kelly is supposed to join his ancestors from prison. Then you got Sean Combs because he sued Diageo Liquor and started that black political party. And now you got Sean Carter. Who does that leave, Art? That leaves Kanye West. That leaves Tyler Perry. That leaves Tiger Woods. I'm missing one, Art. Who am I missing? Young black billionaires. Tiger and LeBron James. LeBron James. Now check it out. Check it out.
Remember, LeBron James was scrubbing his social media too. And you can't tell me that all them celebrities that was doing that was a coincidence. Now, am I saying that he's involved in anything? No, but it's just a mighty odd coincidence. All them celebrities that was at Diddy party, everybody got to scrub your social media all of a sudden. See, listen. When you do stuff like that, that make it look like you got something to hide. What you don't want people to see. Because, see, I got bad news for them. Just because you scrub it off these platforms, once it's out there in the ether of cyberspace, it can always be accessed. You better understand what I'm telling you. I have my own cybersecurity firm. That's the other thing that I do. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. When you put things out here and expose yourself to creating a digital footprint, everything that's ever been on the internet, I don't care how good people tell you they've deleted that, it can be retrieved, okay? There's plenty of ways to do that. Y'all really just, the average person really don't understand that, okay? Because you hit delete doesn't mean it's gone, all right? Let it continue.
Kanye still standing, but he was scandalized. He's still standing, but Kanye was scandalized. They tried to break him, though. He just survived it. Tiger Woods still standing, but he was scandalized. That only leaves Tyler Perry and LeBron James. And if you notice, Art, and I hope both brothers survive it. If they're innocent, I hope Tyler and LeBron survive it. But they trying to tie LeBron James to the Diddy freak-offs. Right now, they're trying to tie LeBron James to the Diddy freak-offs, and they working on tearing Tyler Perry down. They saying that he has his own surviving Tyler Perry thing where he's allegedly SA'd a bunch of young black male actors and did a whole bunch of other inappropriate stuff. So the point that I'm making, Art, is we have to ask ourselves as black people, as American Africans, is this a pure coincidence that they literally, right now as we sit here and talk, 6 of 8 black male billionaires in America, 6 of 8 of them are either convicted, in jail, could be convicted, or currently going through court for sex assault charges. But you don't see the same thing happening with white males. Now, some people will say, what about Michael Jordan? I'm not including Michael Jordan. I'm not including Michael Jackson. Excuse me. Of course, they assassinated Michael Jackson. I'm not including Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Robert Smith, Oprah Winfrey. I'm not including them, Art, because they're much older. The only older is Bill Cosby. Everybody else is a young black billionaire. Jay-Z is probably the most popular young black billionaire in America. He's far more popular than Puff. Far more popular than Puff. You know what I mean? And his popularity is right up there with maybe a Kanye or LeBron. But the point is, Art, anybody with two eyes can tell. There's clearly an agenda here to destroy the black male billionaire, the young black male billionaire. And I tell you why they want to do it. Because consciousness is at an all-time high with black people. Our children are learning more, reading more, studying more. They want to make sure that when they drop the hammer on black America, when Donald Trump drops the hammer on black America, they want to make sure that our black billionaires who still have some street credibility, who still have some connection to the hood, they want to make sure they don't bail us out. They want to make sure.
So now let me pause it right here. And again, let me underscore what he's saying by adding this to it. Our wealthy, okay, multimillionaires, a few big black billionaires that we have in this country, where they often start to go wrong at regarding getting caught up in all this stuff. Because let's be clear, every wealthy black person or well-to-do black person don't get caught up in this kind of stuff. Even in a system of white supremacy, you can move a certain way where it'll be highly unlikely, not impossible, but highly unlikely that you end up in these types of situations. Here's where they often go wrong. I want everybody on the side of my voice to listen to what I'm saying, and please take this to heart. No matter how much money you get above any other person, that does not make you invincible. It doesn't make you better than anybody at all. The minute that you start thinking that money is just a tool, that's the only way you're supposed to look at money. It's a tool to get things done. How much money you got or don't have, that does not make you a better person than somebody. And unfortunately, in society, if you really just think about that concept, it's very childish. And we have some really childish grown people. And to get the bad culture, they think, okay, because I have more money than you, then that makes me better than you. No, it does not. You know why? Because if you caught some type of terminal illness and that money can't help cure it, you're going to die just like the average person that would catch it. You still age when you got money. Sure, you can do a few things, and if you're willing to go get surgery, try to slow it down, but your body still ages. You still capable of any type of mortal experience that could lead to your expiration here if you do foolish things. So money does not make you better than other people. We have to get that illusion out of our heads. But there's a certain segment of society today that they're in all races, but I'm only concerned about Black America. They have this illusion that having wealth makes you better than the average person. Can you do more things than them? Yes. Are you better than that person? Well, you're not. No, you're not. So that's the thing that leads to a lot of our people going wrong. They get blinded by that illusion of having wealth. And then even worse than that, they start hobnobbing around them folks. But this is how you know a black person in trouble. If they start out as an athlete, entertainer, actress, actor, whatever the case may be, they start out on the grassroots. They with their family, okay, the family that they can trust, and they with, black folks that they grew up with or whatever. Okay, you in a pretty good spot. Not to say that bad things can't happen, because it can, but you in a better spot than when you start to see this, that black person get a little bit more status and wealth, and now you don't hardly ever see them in any pictures with no black people. Every time you turn around, they with them folks who don't mean you no good. Because see, this is what some of our wealthy have to understand. Do you really think that white folks are like, yay, we got a wealthy black person up here? No, what they looking at is, how did this Negro or Negress get to the point where you made it up here? Where did we screw up at? Where did we screw up at for your black ass to get up here with us? You ain't supposed to be here. How you get here? They ain't gonna say that to your face. Nah, they gonna let you leave. Okay, this sucker then became a multi-millionaire. What went wrong? How did we, all this oppression we got? See, look, in case y'all think I'm reaching about that, why you think that every time they see a wealthy black person, they always talking about how grateful we supposed to be? As if we didn't fight in spite of to get every single dime that we earn. You should be grateful. You should be just that the third, pocket watching, telling us what we should do with our money. You see what I'm saying? Because they really think you ain't supposed to have nothing in America as a black person. So all I'm saying is this. Our people's attitudes need to be adjusted to have a healthy mindset towards money, okay? And also remember this. I'm going to give you what my father and grandfathers gave me, you know what I'm saying, when I was a young man. There's not one dime in this world worth your reputation. Y'all better take that to the bank. It'll go well with you all days of your life. Let's let it continue.
That the young black billionaire class does not come to the aid of black America when Donald Trump and the American white power structure drops the bomb on black America, the metaphorical bomb on black America. They going after them, Art. Now check this out. I want to go another way with this. Let's talk about the New York City Council's Gender-Based Violence Protection Act. In the year 2000, New York City Council passed this law. It's the Gender-Based Violence Protection Act that protects women who have been the victims of abuse by men. I don't have a problem with that, Art. It's been around since the year 2000. It came out the same year that she alleges that she was attacked. Okay. They've updated this law a couple times. But here's my question to you, Art. When you talk about conspiracy theory, let me throw this at you. Bill Cosby gets convicted in September 18. R. Kelly gets convicted September 2021. 3 months after R. Kelly's 2021 conviction, he gets convicted again September 2022. R. Kelly gets convicted in Brooklyn, September 2021. Chicago, September 2022. In December of 2022, stay with me on this. December of 2022, the New York City Council decides to amend the Gender-Based Violence Protection Act. And they add this unprecedented clause, Art, that says any woman in New York City who has ever been the victim of violence or sexual violence at the hand of a man can bring a civil suit. They didn't say they could bring criminal suit, Art. Nobody's going to jail. But they said you could bring a civil suit. Money. You can go get money. And check this out, Art. There's no statute of limitations.
Now, see, that crap right there, I don't like that. Because, see, if it was up to me, I'd be like, the only way that you even possibly get close to a civil suit, you got to bring some criminal charges as well. That needs to be the law. That needs to be the law because, see, that crap right there, okay, I'll file a civil suit. Okay, that's already showing that you really don't care about justice because, see, let's just deal with this specific area of crime, okay? Sexually assaulting people. You can't tell me that you really are for the protection of women or society in general if the only thing you seeking is some money. Because think about it. If this person did something to you as bad as you say, don't you want that individual off the streets so they can't hurt anybody else? Oh, but everything is okay if you get a payout, huh? So nah, that crap right there, the only way you should be able to get a civil suit, it's got to be some criminal charges. Okay? It should go hand in hand. I just think that's only right. Let's let it continue.
It don't matter if you was assaulted in 2000. It don't matter if you was assaulted in 1980. It don't matter if you was assaulted in 1880. If you still alive and he's still alive, you can drag him into court for a civil suit right now. Art, it's unprecedented. You can hardly find a law like that anywhere in America that gives any woman who was assaulted at any time in her life without no evidence to go after the perpetrator and drag them into court. Now, here's what I want you to pay attention to, Art. My question is it a coincidence? Here's what I'm going at. Bill Cosby, September 18 conviction. R. Kelly, September 21 conviction. R. Kelly, September 22 conviction. Okay? Then you got Puffy, 2024. Jay-Z, 2024. being charged. Here's my question, Art. Who decided on city council? Why did the New York City Council, Art, decide to amend the gender-based violence protection law? It's been around 22 years. They decide to add this clause. It's only good for 2 years, Art. It's a 2-year window from March the 1st of 2023 to March the 1st of 2025. March the 1st of 2023 till March the 1st, 2025. If you got 2 years to bring a suit against any man who has ever assaulted you at any time in your life. My question, Art, why did they decide to do this? Bill Cosby is already convicted. R. Kelly is already convicted. Harvey Weinstein is already convicted, Art. Harvey Weinstein, New York conviction is 2020. Bill Cosby, 2018. R. Kelly, 2021 and 2022. City Council passed this new provision in December of 2022. If Harvey Weinstein is already locked up, if Bill Cosby is already locked up, if R. Kelly is already locked up, why did they need to add this 2-year window, Art, that allowed women to go all the way back in time? You know what my position is? My position, Art, they added that law because they knew they were going after Sean Combs and Sean Carter.
Now, I agree with him. That is very plausible, very possible. Not just Sean Carter and Diddy. I would wait to say, hey, they're gonna start popping up with similar laws like that across the country. But see, let's go back to our black wealthy class again. I would be remiss if I didn't say this. This is why those of them that have that type of wealth, they should focus on owning, operating, and controlling the politics in their particular area. You got that kind of capital, you can get involved quietly trying to get people in places of jurisdiction authority, of legal authority across the board, where if something happened, you don't just want things to go fairly for you, you want things to go fairly for other black people. But see, far too often, the types of wealthy folks that are in that bracket up there, they don't think about none of that. They get to thinking, just like I said earlier in the broadcast, that if they up there with them folks, got this money, you like, oh, I don't need to worry about the rest of these people. Here's the problem. No matter how much money you get, you're still black in America. It just seems like a lot of them, I ain't gonna say all, but a lot, enough to say most, they tend to forget that. In other words, like Captain Gaptooth, Tinkerbell X at the beginning of this broadcast, I'm on my square. I ain't worrying about nothing. Them be the same Negroes that when something happened to them folks come out them, they expect everybody in black America to come to their rescue. No. Nope. We got to get to a point, as harsh as it sounds, people like that, you got to let them hang it out on their own. Like, no, you got it. Stay over there on your square. All you was worried about was you. You don't care nothing about the rest of the community. All you worried about is yourself. Fine. You a liability. We don't need you over here in this community. Because see how we survive best in black America. You think back to Jim Crow, where we didn't have a choice but to stick together and deal with one another. That's when we thrived. We were able to protect each other and look out for one another. But again, I've said this many times. I don't care which white person hear me say it, don't like it. The worst thing that ever happened to my people was integration. It was for a number of reasons. When it folded our economy into theirs, and it also made us get this illusion of inclusion amongst these folks that we will never see here in this country. You've heard my good brother Tariq Nasheed mention the phrase $1 million worth of whiteness. They can get privileges in this country that we cannot buy. You hear me? We can't buy the Kyle Rittenhouse defense in any type of trial. We can't buy that defense that Daniel Penny got where he can just go and choke and kill somebody, sneaking up on them from behind that hadn't done anything to anybody and get off scot-free and be called a hero. We can't buy that. We can't. But see, the problem is when people get certain amounts of money, they actually think they can. And then if they don't think that they can have it, they think that, okay, my good white buddies will surely look out for me if something happened. No, they're not. You will never understand. See, look, if you get to that tax bracket level where Jay-Z and Puffy and the rest of them at, or even if you're just a little bit below it, you better understand that whoever your white peers are, they don't want you there. I learned a long time ago, and I thank my father and grandfathers for teaching me this. When you get up and get climbed the ladder of the tax bracket and you up there with them folks, they looking at you like, this nigga up here, man, this is one taking up a spot for another white person. We got to get you out that spot and raise somebody white up there. That's how they look at it. No matter how hard you work for what you have, that's how they will always see that in this country. So we got to start being mindful that when we have money, don't spend your money on all these trinkets. I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. Yes, enjoy the fruits of your labor. But you better start thinking about how you can really use that money in a powerful way. Buy up your community. Make sure you sending people to college and school for things that are going to benefit the community, making sure you are actively involved in the politics of your area. You understand? See, if you have black businesses working together to do what I'm talking about, you have a measure of control over that. Now, for somebody to say, well, that don't work, again, look at the city of Atlanta. I'm not saying we're perfect, but damn it, we got a better foothold on certain things than most folks is always talking shit about this city, which is why they come here. You see what I'm saying? So my point is, it can be done. It can be done. You just got to focus on doing the right thing when you do acquire those kinds of resources so that you're in position to be able to fight back when they come at you like this. But I just said it's too much like right. Let's let it continue.
I'm going to say it again. Art. I want somebody to prove me wrong on this. You don't create a law unless you plan on using it, correct? You don't just sit around thinking up laws. You don't sit at a dinner table unless you're about to eat. You don't put your shoes on unless you're about to go walk. You don't give your child no toys unless they're about to play. Why did New York City Council amend this law that's 22 years old to allow women to go as far back as they want to bring men into court so they can get paid off civil cases for the next 2 years? They knew they was going after Sean Combs and they knew they was going after Sean Carter, Art. Nobody can convince me otherwise. So let's stay with the timeline. New York City passes that provision in December of 2022. Puffy sues Diageo in the spring of 2023. Casey Ventura files her federal case against Puffy November 16, 2023. Puffy settles out of court in less than 24 hours. Big mistake, Puff. When Puffy settled out of court, Art, in less than 24 hours, it made it appear that he had something to hide, and it made it appear that everything she accused him of was true. Now, don't get me wrong, Kobe Bryant settled his sex assault case out of court. But guess what, Art? He didn't do it in 24 hours. Michael Jackson settled his sex assault case out of court. He didn't do it in 24 hours. And of course, we found out later, Michael Jackson was never guilty of molesting those white boys because one of the white boys came out and said he never touched them, that his parents put him up to doing it. So just because you settle out of court don't mean you're guilty, because Michael Jackson clearly was not. But here's my point, Art. Puffy should have never settled in 24 hours. Because guess what happened after that? Once Puffy settled with Cassie out of court in less than 24 hours, November 17, he got accused by 2 more women in 5 days. He got accused by 3 more women by the end of the month. And by the time the new year rolled around, it was over. And so then
Umar's right, man. And y'all know that I take Umar to task on a lot of things that he says over the years. But when you're right, you're right. Puffy went and settled that quick. It was blood in the water then. It was like, she ain't going to be the only one. That means whether he did something to somebody or he didn't, they were like, this is my chance to come up right here. You understand? So, I got to agree with Umar on that and see all these things that we witness right now. Whichever way they go, what I want young black men to understand is get the lesson out of everything. These are lessons that we must learn from and refine how we move as black men so that we don't find ourselves in these situations. Because let's be clear, this is one thing that I don't think people say enough. This shit is avoidable. Yes, it is. It's not that you gonna be inevitable, you got to deal with this. No. This bullshit is avoidable. It requires a forward-thinking black man, and I get it. Some people, especially the younger folks, may say, well, that's not fair. You're right, it's not. But it's the reality that we live in. And if you're going to survive, you have to adapt and adjust to the times. You understand? So I, for one, I'm taking all these things in, even the Jonathan Major situation. Y'all already know how I feel about that. This man was running away from this Alabasters. Running away. City blocks, literally. She chasing him like a fucking mad woman. And they still convicted this man. Even though it was a minor charge, they still convicted him of doing something to her. Now, I always say that we'll never know. I always said, even though it's still ridiculous, that anybody that saw that Jonathan Majors video where he was running across the city like Kang the Conqueror, actually had Kang on the run, okay? Actually had Kang on the run. I always said that I wonder if he wouldn't have never touched her at all because, you know, he pushed her off of him into the vehicle so he could get away. If they would have convicted that man and he would have never touched her at all, don't you know that would have sent a message that like, hey, man, dealing with Becky, that just ain't it, man. And now we see our brother Jonathan Majors, he done caused some sense and he got with Megan Good. Boy, you better stay there. Stay out the mail. I keep telling all of y'all that. Now, I get it. People going to do what they want to do. All I'm saying is just look at the risk versus the reward. Is it really worth it? You got to have one of them that bad? Because all she got to do is lose her temper with you. Boom, you in a Jonathan Major situation or worse. Because if she called them folks, they may not show up to arrest you. They may show up to take you out of here. All I'm saying is my brothers think no matter what you do, let's let it continue.
And in January of this year, 2024, he settles with Diageo. January 16th of 2024, and 2 months later in March, his house was raided. Art, I'm telling you, New York City was urged to create that law, that provision of the law, that 2-year provision, so they could take down Puff and Jay. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Nobody can convince me otherwise. And for people who say, if you do the crime, you should do the time, I agree, Art. But can I ask them a question? Harvey Weinstein's 2020 conviction got thrown out. Harvey Weinstein's still in jail, Art, because he's serving a 16-year term from a Los Angeles conviction. But guess what? They're going to cut that down to 12 years because they say he should get credit for the time he was already serving in jail because sentences usually run concurrently. He's currently on appeal right now. He's still in jail, but he's on appeal, and his lawyers are trying to get the LA case thrown out altogether. And of course, he was recently diagnosed with cancer, just came out of surgery. I believe Harvey Weinstein going home. I believe Harvey Weinstein going home.
I agree with Umar on that. I believe they're going to get him out of there too. I see it coming. I would not put it past him.
Now, some people are asking a question, Art. They said, will the NFL cancel Jay-Z's concert? Excuse me, Jay-Z's business relationship. Jay-Z helps produce the halftime shows at the Super Bowl. Some people are saying, will Roger Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, cancel Jay-Z's contract? Will he end Jay-Z's relationship with the NFL? First of all, we already know he's not because he came out the other day and said that the NFL will proceed with their relationship with Jay-Z. But I knew that anyway, Art. Because number one, you would be a fool to cancel Jay-Z before the Super Bowl. You would be a fool because all them black folks who was going to watch it, they not watching a halftime show. They not even going to watch it. And plus, if they cancel Jay-Z, Kendrick might pull out. And they can't afford to lose Kendrick as hot as Kendrick is. So that would have been financial suicide to cancel Jay-Z ahead of the Super Bowl. Now, could they have canceled him after the Super Bowl? Possibly. But they're not going to do that either, Art. And I'm going to tell you.
I agree with Umar right there. So this is what I want people to understand. Umar is spot on with that. It's not that them folks love Jay-Z so much. They're like, nah, this will be a big financial ill if we do this. They know how most black people that will react, that are fans of Jay-Z, Beyonce, and I do believe Kendrick would pull out. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that they love Jay-Z so much. No, this is a business decision. Now, afterwards, I'm going to tell y'all something. Mark my words on this microphone. You better pay close attention to what happens after the Super Bowl regarding these whole allegations with Jay-Z and as far as like all his business partners, how they act with him, especially the Super Bowl thing. Because see, one thing we know about them folks, hey, they don't have no loyalty to no black people at all. They've been showing us this for decades and decades and decades in this country. And I don't know why some people tend to think that it's going to be some special pet Negroes all of a sudden here. No, 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 no. Y'all better pay attention. Wait till after the Super Bowl. Of course, they're not going to do anything now. That would be crazy as hell. There's no way. That would be like Omar said. That would be financial suicide, sabotage on an epic scale. So just pay attention to what happened at the Super Bowl, because I got a feeling they're going to change their tune. All my words, you have heard me be one of the first people to say it. Let's let it continue.
Why? Look at all the sex assault complaints that have come against NFL personnel, and the NFL did nothing about it. Let's go to the New England Patriots owner, Roger Kraft. Roger Kraft was charged with 2 counts of prostitution in Florida at an Asian day spa. Guess what? He beat the case because the court said that the video footage that the police had on New England Patriots owner Roger Goodell can't be used in court because it was obtained unconstitutionally.
Boy, that Constitution sure no work for the mayonnaise people, don't it? Again, that's that $1 million worth of whiteness we always talk about. If it was a black person, man, not only would they have allowed that, they would have dug up a whole bunch of more things. They would, look, if you black, they'll go and dig up something that you did in the 2nd grade, a bad report card. They're like, yeah, throw this in here. This will work. I got jokes, but I'm just saying, man. See, this is why we must always remember that just having money doesn't mean that you get the same privileges that them folks have.
Roger Kraft got off on the technicality art. You know, the white power structure took care of that for him. They said, yes, you got footage. He was engaged in prostitution, but y'all didn't get the footage the right way, so we got to throw it out. Let's go to Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, former Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer, 18 years with the Steelers, 16 to 18 years with the Steelers. He got accused of sexually assaulting a woman in a hotel casino. Guess what? That got dropped. Then he got accused of raping a 20-year-old girl inside of a bathroom stall at a club or something like that. She pressed charges. Her medical examiner found evidence of blood, forcible entry into her vaginal cavity, and guess what? The case got dropped. They said they didn't have enough evidence. The NFL didn't punish Ben Roethlisberger for the first crime, and they only gave him a 4-year suspension. 4 games, Art. They gave him a 4-game suspension for the second crime. So they don't have a history. They don't have a history of punishing white males when it comes to sex assault in the NFL. And if I want to go over to the NBA one quick time, even though this is the NBA, let's go to Marv Albert, the longtime announcer for the NBA. Marv Albert got a...
Now, for those of you that are not familiar with that Marv Albert case, look that up. Oh, you need to read that. And salute to my good brother, William Arant, that's joining us. Greetings to you as well, my good man. Hope your family is doing well. But y'all look up that Marv Albert case, okay? Man, listen, when we talk about $1 million worth of whiteness, there's no way a black person, man or woman, could do what he did and still get a job in the NBA, and they just sweeping on the road like it never happened. Look that case up, man. Y'all gonna be like, what in the hell is wrong? See, over the years, I've done many a broadcast to warn our sisters by going over there with Zaddy because you know, fill out with a brother. I'm like, man, they are another level of crazy. I'm not saying we don't have some degenerates over here in our community, but I'm saying Zaddy don't even look at you as a human being. Look at what he do to his own women, huh? That's what I be trying to get our folks to understand. Then let's flip it on over to the Bucks of Bennington. You brothers, you better look at what happened to Christian Obumaseli. When he got with Courtney Clenny, she practiced her sewing and knitting skills on him and turned him into a pincushion. I'm not saying that I wish that happened to him, but you remember how he was talking, a kind of this, a kind of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, them people do not see us as human beings, man. I just can't trust them like that. Like I said, I know everybody gonna do what they want to do. I just can't trust them like that. I'm not gonna gamble my life dealing with them people like that. No, I don't give a damn what they look like, what the case may be. No, it's just too much wrong with that. The mayonnaise is not for me. Each his own, but hey, buyer beware on that. Let's let it continue.
Accused of raping a 42-year-old, sodomizing her forcibly against her will. And guess what? He pled guilty, Art. He pled guilty to raping that woman. And guess what? The NBA gave him his job back after 2 years. So how you going to punish Jay-Z for what you think he might have done when you got these white males in the professional sports industry who have done worse or accused of things just as bad, and you really didn't do much about it? But let us go.
Because it's a system of white supremacy, Dr. Umar, which I know he knows. Salute to my first sergeant, some chick named Star for the cash out. Thank you very much, my good sister. Listen, family, let me tell y'all something, man. One of the things that we better make damn sure we do our best to get through to our young black men and women is, don't ever, and I said this before, I got to say it again, I want this to be, if you remember nothing else in this broadcast, I want you to remember what I'm about to say. We have to get it through to their heads that even though you're in the most integrated society ever, okay, and we understand that, most integrated society that's ever existed, you do not and never will have the same privilege that your white peers have or your white adjacent peers. Don't ever think that you will, because the minute that you do, they're going to show you better than they can tell you that you don't. Even if it's a situation where you ain't did anything wrong and you accused of it, they're going to always give their people the benefit of the doubt. See, again, I got to go back here. This is why, as a black man, a foundational black American freedman man, I could never see myself in no relationship with no Becky, because in that situation, all it takes is an argument. Something don't go her way. You see how she act with her own man. Why would she be any different with a black man who, you know, if they get angry, they go, that's when their true colors going to come out with you. You understand? You already know what they're thinking. You think that these people are not aware that they have a system of white supremacy at their fingertips that they can use anytime they get ready to oppress or harm black people? I'm just saying, man, you got to make sure you teach your children, at least do your best to get them to see these types of situations. You got to talk to them like, hey, son or daughter, if this was you, how would you handle this? How would you have prevented yourself from being in this situation? See, that's how you prepare to send them out into the world before, keyword, before they get out. Don't wait until they get out there and you haven't gave them no game yet, because that's, you throwing your children to the wolves if you're doing that. Use every one of these situations as teaching lessons. Get back to it.
To WWE. What's the guy, Vince McMahon? Have you seen the charges against Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon.
Yes, lock Vince McMahon, old wrinkled pale ass up. He should be in there right next to Diddy.
Man is accused of everything Puffy is accused of ×3. Vince McMahon is accused of everything Sean Combs has been accused of ×3, Art. He's accused of sexually trafficking children. He's not only accused of sexually assaulting women, he's accused of holding them against their will while other men sexually assaulted them. This is all alleged, by the way. Everything I'm saying is alleged. But if you look at Vince McMahon's charges, they're worse than Puffy's. He's never been arrested. He's never been charged. So this is not just about guilt and innocence, Art. There is a racial factor and a racial narrative at play in these black billionaire takedowns. And black people better stop jumping on the bandwagon of trying to desecrate our celebrities publicly until we see the evidence. I don't know if Puffy's guilty. I don't know if Puffy's innocent. I don't know if Sean Carter is guilty. I don't know if Sean Carter is innocent, but I'm here to defend justice, and I'm here to defend everybody's right to a fair and impartial trial before a jury of their peers. And I thought it was bad taste, Art. I thought it was very bad taste that the media decided to drop these Jay-Z allegations right after Billboard announces Beyonce, I believe, as being artist of the century or something like that. And right before his daughter, Blue Ivy, has her premiere of the Mufasa movie, the Lion King sequel, where she's going to be one of the voices of one of the characters.
Now, let me say this, and I know Dr. Umar is intelligent enough to know this, but Dr. Umar, that's when they do it the most to us. Remember what I said. The joke that white supremacy loves to play most is to let you get as high up as you think you're going to get and then kick the rug out from under you, kick the ladder out from under you so that you fall. So you got to think in terms of white supremacy. And I know that's a sick, demented thing to even consider, but you got to think how they will look at it. A white supremacist will go, okay, look at this black man. He's wealthy. He got this family, okay, etc. Look at all the success they're having. When could I most kick this ladder out from under him and make him have the hardest fall ever? Think about it. Don't you know that the white supremacists that put these charges on Jay-Z, which I do believe they false until proven otherwise, don't you know they're like sitting back like, yeah, this going to cause problems in his marriage. Oh, his kids going to look at him this way. His community going to look at him this way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they sit back plotting all this stuff with us. You understand? So see, I never underestimate how evil these people are. They've proven to me over decades that they are irredeemable. And I don't have any problem saying that. I don't look to them to change. I don't think that there's exceptions to the rule, even though there may be. I still keep my eye on them as well, because I know that when you're in a system of white supremacy and you one of them folks, think about it. How could you resist that temptation to use that demonic system in your favor if the need arose? No matter how much they try to pretend, oh, I don't have any money, I'm poor just like you. Bullshit. You're still white in America, and that gets you a lot further than the average person in this country that is not white. So I'm just saying, man, when it comes to that, err on the side of caution, family. Let's let it continue.
He dropped this right after the Beyonce announcement and right before his daughter's red carpet debut. I thought that was foul. If Jay-Z is guilty, let Jay-Z stand his trial. Don't bring Beyonce. I'm a Beyonce fan. I'm going to just be honest with that. I think she cares about her people, and I think she tries to help her people whenever she can. So I think it's bad character to try to bring Beyonce into this, and I think it's bad character to try to disparage the image of a 12-year-old girl. I believe Blue Ivy's 12. Leave the kids out of it. Leave the wife out of it. Leave the twins out of it. But I want to say this, Art, and I'll stop.
They are never going to leave the wife and the kids out of it. That's the whole goal of white supremacy, is to exterminate you and destroy. Key word, destroy your legacy. There's no such thing as honor amongst those demons. There's no such thing as fair play. All warfare is deception. You better remember that quote by Sun Tzu. He was right about that. And with them, we know the one thing that they're the best at on the planet, they never want to take credit for, and that's deception. Let it continue.
I believe Jay is going to survive this because, number one, I don't see how Tony Busbee is going to find material evidence to prove that Jay-Z and or Sean Combs was ever in a room alone with this 13-year-old. Think about it, Art. Imagine if they pass her picture around. She don't look the same way. She don't look how she looked when she was 13. So who can place her? Art, who could place her at the party? Who can place her? You were 13. Nobody looks the same way at 37 that they looked at 13. So Art, who's going to place her at the party? That's number one. Now, maybe she got some 13-year-old pictures. Now, if she got some 13-year-old middle school pictures, they can pass that around. But if you was trying to dress like a grown woman so you can get into the VMAs, chances are you don't look anything like your 13-year-old picture when you was at that VMA award. In other words, Art, you can hold up her VMA picture to her 13-year-old class pictures in middle school. She might look like two totally different women. So how are y'all going to place her at the party? How are you going to place Sean Combs and Sean Carter beside her at the party? How are you going to prove there was sex? How are you going to prove that there was sexual assault? I can't see it, but I want to say this part. I want to say this. We need to understand that morally inappropriate behavior does not preclude the existence of a separate and distinct public agenda. In other words, Art, Puffy can be wrong, Jay-Z can be wrong, and it can still be an agenda to destroy young black billionaires.
I agree with that. And here's what I'm going to add to this. He's right. Puffy or Jay-Z could be completely wrong, or anybody. But that doesn't mean that there's not an agenda there. I agree with him 100%. So here's what I say to my people. We need to act like we know that shit. We got too many people running around acting like they don't know that. In other words, if you are in them circles where them people at, that's what you chosen to do to make a living. You better act like you understand. Hey, look, all these people around me do not want my black ass here, especially if they not my people. Then on top of that, even those that are our people, the sellouts like that gap tooth junkie at the beginning of this broadcast, don't you know that somebody like that, I mean, you ain't Batman Square. That's the first person to stick a knife in your back. They can easily buy a gap tooth. Huh? So I'm just saying, it's a lot of factors that come into play, and we need to act like we understand that we're on a battlefield and these people are playing for keeps. There's no special pet Negroes, and there's not going to be any exceptions. If they get a chance to get you, they're going to capitalize on it every time, and we're our only protection. Let's let it continue.
Black people have this idea, Art, that if they're guilty of the crime, there's no conspiracy at play. That's not true. Because you don't see white men being charged of the same thing, being taken down. Yes, they can be guilty. Yes, they should be held accountable, but there's still an agenda to destroy black male billionaires that we cannot afford to ignore. Black power.
How you feel about the statement Jay came out with?
Jay-Z's statement. At first, I thought it was a little premature. I kind of felt that Mr. Carter should have allowed his lawyers to respond on his behalf. However, Art, when I step back and look at what he risks losing because of this, I think it was more than appropriate for Mr. Sean Carter to respond himself. Think about it, Art. A 13-year-old,
And again, that I agree with. You accuse me of some shit like that, I'm coming out full-throated denial. Hell no, I am not guilty of these charges, and I can't wait to get in court and clear my name. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to something like that, let me tell y'all something. Y'all know I've said this many times. If that's where I have to go, not only am I going to clear my name, after that, I'm going to legally destroy you. I know I am coming. Look, just like you put my future in jeopardy with this bullshit, I will not let up off your ass. I will get up dedicated every day to making your life a legal living hell. I will. I'm telling you now. So them false allegations is, I'm going to tell you something. I ain't one of them forgive and forget people. Nah, man, you playing on my future. So if it was me, yeah, that's one thing I agree with Jay. Like, hey, man, I ain't did none of this bullshit. And I'm not finna settle. I ain't nothing. Nope. We going to court. And like I said, as soon as that's wrapped up, now I got to get busy destroying you. I got to. But see, look, I look at that the same way that you would a venomous snake crawling around your house. If you don't get the head, it'll come back. Nah, I got to make sure you up out of here. Yeah, that's the way I would handle it legally. I'm just saying. So, like I said, I wouldn't care if I had to hire private investigators. Whatever you got going on, you better not be involved in no tax fraud. I'm going to find out. If you got something going on that's illegal, I'm going to use whatever I can get my hands on to destroy your ass. Because that's some shit right there that's unforgivable. That kind of charge on a black man, a 13-year-old, man, oh, man, Listen, man, I hope that Jay-Z and his attorneys, I know right now they're basically concerned with clearing his name, but somewhere in there needs to be something with like, nah, you can't just get off scot-free for this. She need to do some time. If it's proven like it looks like it's going to be that she's lying, they got to start doing some time for this. And see, watch this, family. Let me throw this out here before we let this wrap up. Have you ever noticed that politicians on either side of the aisle, they never bring up what I just said about making these motherfuckers do time for telling these types of lies? You notice that? Got something for you. Try this exercise, no matter whether you're Democrat or Republican in my chat room. The next time your politicians are talking to you, bring that issue up and see what kind of response you get. And look, if you're so inclined, if you take me up on that, let me know what their responses are. Email me the responses or bring it to my attention on either platform. I would love to know when they come around, ask you to vote this at the third, bring up what I just said, because that's a serious concern in this country. You shouldn't be able to just run around lying and making up shit on people. Especially when it's a chance that if you black, you're going to get convicted of that shit with no evidence. So I'm just saying, man, these are the issues that we need to be concerned with. Let's let it continue.
And I'm not getting in their business, but your wife can leave you if you're guilty of that. You understand? A wife will leave a husband if she found out you sexually assaulted a child younger than our own daughter. You know what I'm saying? Those types of accusations destroy families. Those types of accusations destroy legacies. Those types of accusations will terminate billion-dollar deals and agreements that you have. He could lose everything on these allegations, Art. And because of that, I think he did the right thing. He basically responded the exact opposite way as Sean Combs did. Puffy retreated and he settled. Jay said, I'm not retreating. I'm not settling. You're going to have to prove in a court of law that I am guilty of the crimes that you accuse me of. And like I said earlier, Art, the first thing Sean Carter's attorney is going to do is hire a private investigator. They're going to hire a private investigator who's going to dig all into that girl's past, Art. God forbid if she was ever locked up. God forbid if she was ever a prostitute. God forbid if she was homeless or if she come from a family where the parents might have had some challenges with substance abuse. Anything that they can use to disparage her character, they're going to use it to exonerate their client because that's what lawyers do. I just hope, Art, for her sake, I hope she's telling the truth, because I would hate to see a black woman be embarrassed and disrespected on the stand the way she's going to be embarrassed and disrespected on the stand. So for that side, I hope it's true. For Jay-Z and Sean Combs, I hope it's not true. Because first of all, black men shouldn't be engaging in that type of behavior. And we have a lot of young people who look up to them, especially Sean Carter. And so I hope it's not true because number one, we shouldn't be doing that to our women. And number two, that's not the kind of legacy we want. And that's not the type of hope we want our young people to lose in one of their favorite celebrities.
How you feel about Diddy bail being denied for a third time?
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Puffy, Sean Combs being denied bail 3 times is unacceptable. How can he be denied bail 3 times, Art, and Vince McMahon ain't never been arrested yet for the same and worse? And Vince McMahon case is only 1 state away in Connecticut. So it's not like he's on the other side of the country. They 1 state away.
I'm going to answer that question for you, Dr. Umar. See, you got to understand that the difference between the white wealthy and black wealthy folks, the white wealthy does what I just said earlier in the broadcast. Watch this. As disgusting and despicable as Vince McMahon is, don't you know that all these years up there in Connecticut, don't you know he spent time getting politicians, judges, lawyers, all kinds of people, the media in his pocket? Don't you? In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is he knows he's not going to touch a prison cell because he's greased many a pawns over the years. And that's one thing about the system of white supremacy. They have to pay into that system in order to make sure that they're taken care of if they ever decide to go and do the things that Vince McMahon and the rest of them have done out here. You understand? Black folks, nope. Unfortunately, too many of the black wealthy, they don't never go and buy up things or secure things in advance that make sure that they're going to be good if they get themselves into a situation. Not that I'm saying that they should be, committing crimes or anything. I'm talking about to protect yourself when somebody lies on you. That's where I'm coming at it from. So that's the difference. And I'm surprised Dr. Umar hadn't really thought about that. Vince McMahon is in a whole nother league than Jay-Z and Puffy. No, he spent the last, I guarantee you, 20, 30 years setting up things where even if his kids get into something, like, oh, don't worry about that. Still a lot of court, whatever. Hey, y'all go out the country for a minute. This will blow over. Ain't nobody finna do no jail time. I'm just saying. Anybody think what I said sound far-reaching or it sound like the truth? Let's let it continue.
Puffy gets denied bail 3 times. Vince McMahon ain't even been arrested. You know why they doing this? This is all about intimidation. This is all about humiliation. Humiliation and intimidation. They are sending a loud message to black celebrities. You are not above the law. You have no more power than any other black person. You will do what we say, and if you don't, we will destroy you. They're showing us by destroying our black billionaires how much power the black celebrity does not have. Racism, complete racism that Puff has not been released on bail. Complete racism. He has children. Nobody's thinking about his children. Sean Carter has children. Nobody's thinking about his children. And when I look on the internet and I just see all these black folks trying to destroy them, like I see black people convicting them before they even been tried in court. I ain't talking about people who've been around them. I can't speak to those in the music industry. I'm talking about regular, everyday YouTubian struggle streamers saying, yeah, I know Jay-Z is guilty. How you know he guilty? How do you know the man guilty? Was you there? Was you around him? How do you know? I just hate the fact, Art, that we are so quick to cancel, dismiss, and humiliate our own, even without evidence, but we don't keep the same energy with white folks. Look at the cop. The cop who shot and killed Sonia Massey up in Illinois, he's about to get out on bail. He's about to get out on bail. We're not crashing out for that, though. We're not crashing out for that. Donald Trump didn't put a single black person on his presidential cabinet. We're not crashing out for that. The stuff that matter, black people are not crashing out for, but we will crash out in support of Jay-Z being found guilty before he ever had a day in court. And like I said, I'm not on nobody's side. I'm on the side of justice. I believe in due process of the law. I believe everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And both Sean Combs and Sean Carter have reasserted their innocence. And until they've been proven guilty in the court of law before a jury of their peers with a preponderance of the evidence, I have no right to question them.
All right, there you have it. Now, let me say this. No matter whether I agree with things Umar has said over the years or not, I brought this to you here tonight because this is a perfect example of objective critique versus hating. There was no hate or personal things in his assessment of that situation at all. He was looking at it from multiple angles, using logic and reason and talking about the things that could happen, okay, or the things that should happen. That's objective critique. Taking feelings out of it, not celebrity worship, anything. So I hope that people got the gist of what we were trying to convey here tonight about objective critique versus hating. Now let me deal with a couple of the last points that he made. The Donald Trump thing, a lot of people been talking about Donald Trump don't have no black people in his cabinet, whatever. Let me tell you something. Even if he did, there would be coons anyway. So, and look, let's just say they wasn't coons. Do you really think that with these good old boys that Donald Trump done picked in his cabinet, do you really think that any black person gonna have any real power other than doing exactly what they told to do over there? So, I mean, you know, the people that keep saying that, look, I thought we learned our lesson about symbolism with the Democrats. I don't care if we don't have any black people in this cabinet. As long as they meet our agenda, that's all that we should care about with other political parties. So I just wanted to get that cleared up, that last part of what Umar was saying. Other than that, he was spot on with his assessments on many things here tonight. And I want to close with this, family, especially for the young black men listening. Black people should do this, period. But for the young black men listening to the sound of my voice, the time to have your ducks in a row in case you find yourself facing a false allegation, you don't wait until then. See, a lot of times when it comes to power and setting ourselves up right, you don't even wait till you become a multimillionaire. In your everyday circle, it should be at least 3 to 5 people that you sit down and have discussions with behind closed doors about, hey, look, if XYZ ever happened to this family or one of us, how would we deal with that? What do we have any countermeasures in place? Do we know any people that are, state representatives, city council, whatever. I mean, you got to start assessing these things before you get into these situations, because see, far too often in Black America, we wait until the water's right at our neck before we start looking around trying to figure out how we're going to get out of the situation. We got to break that habit, okay? And I know most of you over here, you don't have that problem, but got to be honest, a lot of our people in our community, they'll do just what I said. They'll wait till things get so bad, then start looking around like a chicken with their head cut off, trying to figure out what you have to do. Start thinking about countermeasures to these things early. And particularly if you're successful or on your way up in success, the first thing, because yes, it feels good to win. We all love to win. That's the easy part. But at night, when you sitting down or you in the confines of your own home, privacy, you got quiet, you need to be meditating on how to protect, keyword, protect what you build. People that you've never met, that you ain't never did nothing to, gonna hate you, and you might not even have no contact with them. They're gonna hate you simply because you're Black and successful. So we always got to be strategizing amongst like minds on how we protect each other, okay? So family, with that said, salute to everybody that contribute to the broadcast. We're going to have a broadcast schedule change because I'm not done with Tinkerbell X. Oh, we're going to break that down from the A-Road. And see, look, while I'm on that, I'm going to do something else regarding that, because I'm going to get that stuff off my chest tomorrow and address that in full format. But I'm also going to open up another X space, and I'm going to get some of the younger Black men and women in the community. And when I say younger, I'm saying millennials and Gen Z. I'm going to open up an X space in the next coming days to get their assessment on things like that with these types of old sellouts, because I got to give Jason Black his credit. You got to watch these old niggas, okay? And he's a perfect example. So yeah, we about solutions over here and making sure that we're forward thinking. And again, Tinkerbell X, if you're listening, I'm glad you did what you did. You fell for it. Oh, you fell for it. And I'm going to use you for every bit of the teaching tool that you need to be used for. Because your time, it's going to come a time where your kind is going to be cut off completely from being a liability to Black America. And if I have anything to say about it, that's how it's going to be. So with that said, family, continue to enjoy your holiday season. Be safe out here. Remember that your mind is your greatest weapon. We have to start utilizing this to the best of our ability for the protection and empowerment of our people. That's it. Salute to you, Black first, and I will see you all in future content.